to give himself a dart at tops to take out the opening leg. And he only needs a dart at tops to lead 1-0. He's going to have a dart at double 16 to finish with a ton topper and to finish top of the pile.
That leaves the ball, but oh, he does go for it. Takes it out.
Yes, the ball. Yes, a fantastic maximum finish. He's going to go at his favourite double. Excellent outshot that from Jim McEwen.
Back up with a 3-1 win yesterday. This time finds the double 11 with dart 1 for 2-0.
Well, this time next week, it's going to be lights out and away we go in Bahrain. But we've had a Grand Prix of our own this week here at the MODUS Super Series. We've been doubling in and doubling out on the South Coast. And tonight, we are going to crown our winner. 9 games will separate somebody from a very, very special trophy and a very, very special achievement. Well, a big night always needs the big names. And we've got Chris Mason alongside us this evening to talk us through it. And first of all, what a week we've enjoyed. It's been a different format, something new. The players have taken to it well. We've had some very tight groups as well. Yeah, and so have the fans. They've loved it. The viewers have been swooping in for it. It was fascinating to see. I think it was a great group. Whoever actually put the group together has done an amazing job, because every single group went down to the wire and the final game before we knew exactly who was going to progress. So, yeah, for me, I think it's been absolutely fabulous, and I'd like to see more of it. Yeah, I think we'll be appealing to the bosses of all Double Trouble, won't we, in the future? Right, let's show you the Super 6 that are going to be in action this evening. And I'll tell you what, it has not been academic to get them down to this stage. Tonight, we're going to see Neil Duff, Jim McEwen, Conan Whitehead in Group 1, Connor Scott, Darryl Pilgrim, James Wilson in Group 2. We thought at the beginning of the week, whatever combination of players we get is going to be tough. And this evening, it is going to be doubly tough. Yeah, look at the 6 we've lost in that whole process to get us down to the 6 finalists. Credit to all 6 for making it, and they've all been put through the ringer in one way or another. And you have to feel a little bit this morning. I certainly did for Robert Thornton, who went so close to qualifying, not just on Monday, but then also yesterday as well. But yeah, credit to all the players. They've had to go through every emotion just to reach tonight's final. And this format means they're going to get put through it all over again. Because it is going to be best of 5 throughout the course of this evening. It's going to stay at the same format as it did Monday to Friday. Let's talk about the process that got us here to Saturday. We'll preview the final in just a second, but let's have a look at Group A, which took place on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. And as you can see, it was tight all the way to the finish. Jim McEwen eventually taking the honours, but goodness me, it was not easy. Yeah, we went through a sequence of games where either Robert Thornton could have won it, then Steve Brown could have won it, but ultimately it was Jim McEwen that just about held on. He was just about marginally the best player in Group A, but only by a tiny fraction. And when I broke all the numbers down, that proved to be the case. He was just marginally better than everybody else, but only by a very small percentage. And talking about McEwen, his timing was absolutely perfect. And we were mentioning in commentary on Thursday, this is a format where you have to be on point in that department. Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about, you know, the big scores and the big finishes. It's about sometimes just finding that right moment at the right time, and even just getting away last start and not panicking. That's been key in a lot of games. Yeah, we've seen the 160 aways and other big starting shots, but more often than not, games have been won and lost by just sort of one dart here and there. What did you make of Neil Duff's campaign in that Group A? I thought he did okay. The one thing Neil's very good at is playing himself into form. We've seen so much of him here that Monday he can sometimes just go through the motions. Tuesday you start to see an improvement. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday starts to gather some momentum, and that's exactly what he's done this week. And it's a crapshoot tonight. Any one of the 6 can win it. Literally any one. I wouldn't be shocked. Any one of the 6 players will win it or could win it. Yeah, there's the favourites, but that's based more on reputation. Reputation goes out the window. As soon as it becomes double start, that goes out the window. When it becomes best of 5 double start, it's a coin flip. As we saw this week, because when we went into Group B, the former World Grand Prix champion was eliminated. Now, that is how it ended in the end, but goodness me, there was some right drama leading to that point. Connor Scott just sat back and relaxed in the end. Yeah, he could, very much like Darryl Pilgrim could himself in Group C, but
again, it went down to the final game in terms of who was going to be the last qualifier, and it was just a straight shootout between James Wilson and Robert Thornton. And for those that joined us last night, we all know what happened.
You said on Thursday that Connor Scott at 2-1 favourite was too short a price. He proved you right. Yeah,
I thought Jim McEwen at 3-1 was too big on Monday. I thought Darrell Pilgrim was a sure thing, and I also thought Connor Scott was a sure thing at that kind of price. Well, I'm a broken clock that's been right 3 times a day. You keep punting, you're going to get it right once upon a time. But no, those 3 for me. Although it was a disappointing World Seniors for Jim, how well he played, I just couldn't ignore that. We all know the quality of Darrell Pilgrim, was one of the short price favourites to get a tour card. Didn't quite happen, but he has bounced back really, really well. And of course, Connor's just come off the tour, and he's playing some super stuff. So no surprise that those 3 of the 6 made it through. But finals night, as we've seen before, reputation goes out the window.
So Connor Scott had it fairly routine making it through. Everybody else in that group definitely didn't. Now, this was how the group table looked going into the final round of matches. So Scott, he was safely through, but everybody else was tied on 6 points. And it came down right to the very end, pretty much to the final leg between James Wilson and Robert Thornton. Thornton thought that he was in, and then he was out.
Yeah, a bit like the bullseye. Yeah, it came down to the last 6 darts, 3 darts each. This is Thornton to win it, 2 treble 20s, and straight off the top wire of the bullseye, and that cost him a place in tonight's final. Literally the thickness of a wire, because James Wilson does what James Wilson does. He steps in, calmly picks off the 25, hits the double 18 cleanly. 2 dart kill under the most extreme pressure, and you can see Robert Thornton in the background just can't believe his luck. And I thought he was destined to make it through. He produced some incredible clutch finishes, including that wonderful 138 a little bit earlier on.
He's the only player in the finals night, Phil, that's played at the World Grand Prix before. Does that add or make a difference, or not on the basis of this week?
I don't know. I think Robert would be the first to admit he's not anywhere near his best kind of form. But the knowledge of having won a World Grand Prix and understanding that format and the intricacies that come with it, we expected him to get through. But it just shows you, sometimes it just doesn't matter. It's all about timing and just finding them right shots or those right legs.
Well, as they say, darts is on the day. And Conan Whitehead's had some great days under this roof at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. He won the first series. He'd love to win the first Specials week, wouldn't he? Yeah, and he likes being first, doesn't he? And winning the inaugural Super Series Champions Week, he'd love to get his name on this trophy, because I certainly, the response we've had and the reaction from the fans, I certainly don't think it'll be the last time we do it. Absolutely not. Right, let's have a look at Group C and how that culminated. And as Mace was saying with Group B, it was fairly routine for Darrell Pilgrim, who treated us to only the 21st ton plus average in the history of the Grand Prix format in front of the cameras. Neil Duff coming through second, but promise you, it wasn't as academic as that. No, and it just came down to Mark in his last game, and to be honest, he just had nothing left. He's another one of the players that have prepped for seniors, played in it, travelled down on late on the Sunday, and gave it everything this week. Credit to him. Listen, he'd have been well within in his rights to just roll over on Friday, but he came in on Friday afternoon and gave it absolutely everything, and just came up short by the narrowest of margins. In terms of Darrell Pilgrim, the key to being successful in this format is getting in first time, and particularly on Thursday afternoon. There was hardly a time we didn't get in first time, let alone first visit. Yeah, I don't think anyone's done it better than him this week, so it was no surprise to me that the double 16, and it felt like it was in the same spot every time. But the other aspects of his game, he's a big scorer. He's got every element to go on and win this. He was favourite before we started on Monday, and he's proven that favourability by some of the numbers. He averaged in excess of 91 on Thursday for the entire day, and listen, straight start, that's a good number for a daily average, never mind a double start. So I understand the favouritism for him, and he does go into tonight as a warm favourite. We've spoken so many times about the tenacity, the grit of Neil Duff, and he showed all of those qualities yesterday. Yeah, and he had to, but that's the beauty of when you get the entire week to play.
and for someone like Neil Duff, who just has this incredible ability of not really getting bogged down by bad darts, because he'll be the first to admit at times this week he's not been anywhere near what we would expect, where most players would get sort of emotionally invested in that. We've seen it from Kevin Painter, of course, this week. Neil just brushes it off as a moment, goes back into the players' room, resets, comes out and goes again until he gets it right. And well, we know he can win on a Saturday night because he did it not very long ago for the very first time. So he'll come into this with a different type of confidence, but the pressure is going to be from the absolute off for the players because of this unique format of double start.
And we could talk a little bit more about that now, because we've been crunching the numbers, been having a look at the players' doubling numbers throughout the course of the week. These are the 6 finalists so far this evening. And when you look at the likes of Darrell Pilgrim, the likes of Jim McEwen, they got strong favourites because of that graphic in green there.
Yeah, absolutely. The green is the double in and the red is the double out. And listen, we mentioned how good Darrell Pilgrim was. That's an incredible stat. Never mind hitting 2 doubles in a leg. You'd be happy to take the 41.9% as your, as just the 1 double per leg. You combine that with the 55.56% going, getting off. I mean, that's incredible. And the players around them in those 30s, Conan has to find better in both. Otherwise, he's going to be in a world of trouble. And the 3 there, which I favour over the other 3, are the 3 with the best stats.
So are we saying anything around 40% in terms of doubling in is what you're going to have to do to be successful tonight?
Yeah, I don't think anybody will win it tonight with a stat lower than 40%. I think the quality of the field, it's going to be imperative that you're in those kind of numbers, and anything over 35% in terms of your finishing doubles.
Well, let's have a look at the outright betting and see what the bookies think about tonight's proceedings here at the Live Lounge. So, Darrell Pilgrim goes off the favourite like he has done from the very first start on Monday morning. Jim McEwen and Connor Scott, joint second favourites at 4-1. Is that correct in your thinking?
Yeah, I certainly get it because of the experience of Jim McEwen. It's a tough one for me because I make Darrell Pilgrim the favourite, and then I probably make the rest of the field very level, really. I know there's some disparity in some of the numbers, but this is finals night. Those numbers can, they're out the window. I think Conan White could represent some value, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if James Wilson or Neil Duff won it. This nature and of this format, you're almost guaranteed upsets. The one place where we see more upsets in any of the darts that we see on television tends to be in the Grand Prix.
And also the fact that it's best of 5, does it make the odds a little bit more academic? Because anyone could beat anybody over that format.
Exactly that. You could put all those 6 names in a hat and pick one out. And if you were going to have a punt, that's the way I do it, because I think it is that volatile. I totally get why Darrell Pilgrim's favourite. He is unquestionably, statistically this week, the best player. But as we've seen before on finals nights, we've seen players dominate Group A, dominate Group B, dominate Group C, and not get out of the group on finals night. And that's going to be even more inflated because it's best of 5 and doubling.
Well, let's have a look at tonight's bet builder, see what you've been having a punt on at home. And it has been a busy afternoon's worth of punting as well. And it's been an afternoon in sport where the outsiders have prevailed. Darrell Pilgrim to get the better of James Wilson at 4-6. Conan Whitehead to beat Neil Duff at 10-11. And Darrell Pilgrim to get the most 180s against Connor Scott at 2-1. Again, because of the format, is there volatility with the bet builder?
Well, it's taken 6 days from the punters at home, but this is one I actually agree with. This, of course, is this is nothing to do with us. This is the punters' picks. These are the most popular bets on the exchanges, and I actually think that's a good punt. I'd say that one's going to come in.
18 plus, begambleaware.org. You have a flutter on the Super Series this evening. It's already been a weekend full of sporting upsets so far. Fulham beating Manchester United in the Premier League, Ireland beating Wales in the Six Nations early on this afternoon. Are we going to see more shocks and surprises here at the Live Lounge this evening? We are about to find out. Jim McEwen, the Series 5 champion under his roof, is in action against the first WDF World Champion, Neil Duff, in the opening game of the evening session. And early on this evening, I caught up with both players. Neil, we know you as a gritty and determined player, and you showed all of those qualities yesterday.
Yeah, well, I needed to. Just kind of one of them, your back's against the wall, you have to go out and do what you have to do. Didn't really feel myself all week, but put it together yesterday, yeah, and got the result I needed.
As difficult as the scenario is, can it sometimes be easy to boil down to the fact that you just know you've got to win every game?
Yeah, and no. You do know whenever you know it's in front of you, you have to set yourself right. Just take it one at a time. It was kind of unlucky to think to lose to Lisa yesterday, but I should have done the 5 out of 5. But I was just happy to be playing well again.
Have you found the transition from single start to double start?
We were just talking about it in there with Jim. We go to Isle of Man 2 weeks' time. I have to remember not to go for a double to start off with. But yeah, my practice routine is a lot of 201 double in, double out. So it's not too much of a transition for me.
Your resume is quite impressive. Obviously, WDF World Champion, weekly winner here. Multiple, as you say. Win here tonight. You had another tick on the resume, a double start event in front of the cameras.
Yeah, and the first special event here. Yeah, it would been nice to do, but I'm going out there. I'm taking each game as I have to. They're tough groups. They've been tough groups all week. I feel I'm seasoned for it now, and I'm ready to go.
Well, a multiple weekly winner is back in the final. We wish you all the very best. Neil, good luck.
Cheers, Hart.
Jim, something a little bit different for yourself this week, but have you found double trouble?
Revelation. Yeah, I don't like the actual game, but I usually do pretty well at it. Mm-hmm. But it was a good week. The Group A was a good week. Really enjoying it, yeah.
In some ways, has it actually broken up the calendar a little bit?
Yeah, I'm off to Isle of Man in a couple of weeks, so I better remember not to start with a double. So, no, it has been good. Mm-hmm.
In terms of this week, we saw you at the World Seniors, obviously unlucky against Kev. How would you say your level of play has been this week in this new format?
Actually, not bad. A couple of high 90 averages the first couple of days. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, for double start, I'll take that every day. Yeah.
Couple of days off the last few days. Obviously, having that busy week, obviously last week at the Circus Tavern and other tournaments, was that rest kind of needed for yourself?
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. I don't usually look forward to winning Group A and having the 2 days, it's not 2 days, it's 3 days off, all day Saturday as well. Yeah, I needed it because of the seniors.
You've won a Champion of Champions in Southampton. You've won a Champions Week here. How would you like to be the first player to win a Specials Week and almost tick the set?
Oh, everything they throw up, I'm winning now. So, yeah, it'd be good, yeah. Looking forward to it. It's going to be really hard tonight. You miss your first 3 doubles, you're in trouble.
Well, most certainly looking forward to watching you play tonight. Jim, good luck.
Thank you, Paul.
Your new MODUS Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Double Troubles Finals night, and it's time to introduce the players. Please welcome to the stage, it's Chucky, Jim McEwen, and the Duff Man, Neil Duff.
Jim McEwen and Neil Duff kicking off proceedings here on this Saturday night. These two do have history. They had a WDF World Championship quarter-final where Jim McEwen was in control of before Duff went on to win in a last set decider en route to picking up the Lakeside title. McEwen, of course, the former champion here back in November, is looking to add the double-in, double-out title to his resume. It's McEwen against Duff to kick off the evening's proceedings. Chris Mason's made the run up to the commentary box where he's joined alongside Chris Murphy. Evening, Chris.
Evening from both Chris's, Henry. Evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for what should be a doubly good finals night here at the MODUS Super Series. It has been a week that's had plenty of drama, plenty of tension, and all the players seem to have bought into it. We will try and reflect a little more, myself and Chris Mason, on what's happened this week, but all eyes on finals night now, and just regardless of the
First
brutal
leg, it's
format,
Jim to throw
which is, of
first.
course, first
Game
to 3
on.
legs, double in, double out. What a field of 6 players involved, Mace.
Yeah, what a field we've lost, and what a start from Jim McEwen. Yeah, it's been a fascinating week, and the one bit of feedback that I have
120.
got from all of the players, it's just been such a refreshing change. Yes, it's been brutal, but in a strange kind of way. Dart players tend to enjoy it. It gives them a different challenge, a different mindset. Both players away. The first time of asking. These two from Group 1. That also includes
41.
Conan Whitehead. The completion of this match, we will then to jump to Group 2. So on and so forth until we've completed 6 matches
100.
where all the players have completed 2 games.
Yep, usual league format we've kept for the weekend for the finals night, but this difference of the double start. And 2 players have got plenty of history. If you haven't been watching us all
59.
week, or they've been battling it out. And they have battled it out on other big stages before. The Lakeside in 2022, when Duff came back from 3 sets behind against Jim McEwen, who mismatched darts to win it 4-0. And then McEwen got his revenge at the World Seniors match play in York at the back end of last year.
Well, this
134.
2 groups of 3 format is normally brutal enough, Murph, but throw in best of 5 and double in.
81.
It's no surprise that the players are just a little bit edgy at the moment. Ooh, long way off. Back up for trouble 20 to leave 24. He's done exactly that.
100. Jimmy required
A little bit of
24.
pressure from Neil Duff, but everything has gone with throw so far in this opening leg. Ooh, double 3.
Game
3
on
doubles
the
in a
first
leg.
Jim McEwen.
Yeah. Well, good.
Second leg is Neil to throw first. Game on.
Cover finish there from Jim McEwen. It's an awkward one always, isn't it? Double 3.
We've had some
No score.
massive audiences this week, Murph, including our YouTube channel and, of course, across all your favoured bookmakers, where you can watch it via their apps.
No score.
Seems to have gone down very, very well. And if you want to get in touch, you can via our social medias at MSS Darts across Facebook, X, Instagram, and
40.
TikTok, of course, and via the YouTube chat. In all honesty, very little of that can be read out.
Yeah, keep it
78.
clean, respectful. And maybe we will get you involved, but the best way to be involved is to come down, as many have. Again, a good audience here for a
95.
Saturday night of the Super Series.
Even up on the balcony.
$98.
Both in.
140.
Remember, there is a slight difference on these finals nights, and it's actually more likely this week
134.
than any other week that if every player gets the same set of results in a group, they end up being separated by a 9-dart shootout. Of course, because it's a shorter
45.
format, there is less possible outcomes in each match, which means the likelihood is increased.
Yep. Mathematically increased. If it isn't brutal enough, we'll just throw that in the mix. Treble 13 or treble 17.
137.
Opts for the 17s as he prefers 10s.
$95. Jimmy required 54.
Great opportunity for Jim to move within one. Tops.
He loves this target, usually so good on it. But it was the
34.
double, and it's interesting. In the match I mentioned at
86.
Lakeside, he hit it 8 consecutive times, and then the first time he missed it, he kept missing it, and Duff came back. The rest, as they say, is history. And the
Game
bullseye
shot in the
has picked
second leg.
Jim McEwen's pocket
Nailed
on that
that.
occasion. Now we're going to talk about
Well, look,
another
it's
bullseye
Jim's
quite a
also
lot, aren't we? The
first.
one that you spoke
Jim.
about with Henry at the top of the show.
Yeah, that was...
Robert Thornton could have been here instead of James Wilson.
I want for that pesky wire that surrounds the red bit. He would be.
160.
Super response after losing a leg. He would certainly feel inside he should have won.
No score. $95.
Yeah, we're talking about 9 dart shootouts. We're still hoping for a historic 9 dart finish as well.
We've gone 6 deep. That's as close as we've got. We've had our
No score.
100 plus average, which is a rarity.
Keep your eyes on Connor Scott, who's in action in the next game, because he will try inventive ways, not just for a 9 darter. He gave a great
58.
explanation last night about his thinking.
Yes.
One thing we haven't seen all week is a brush, and we won't see one in this leg either. Neil Duff
45.
in the nick of time.
Jim McEwen just growing in confidence and getting more and more comfortable.
100.
Too late now, Neil.
100. Jimmy require 88.
Double top for Jim McEwen. He's decided with Duff so far back that he can go any way he likes here.
48.
Well, he even had the option that if he missed the treble, he could stay there for treble 16 for then double 12 and then stay there again for the single 16 for tops.
Yeah, he's a man who likes to use
60.
only a handful
Jimmy
of doubles,
require
isn't he?
40.
Sticks to what he knows, and he knows where this is. And he
Game
hits it
shot on the
again.
third leg. Jim McEwen.
Well, he'll feel he could have won this match already, Jim McEwen.
Yeah, 2 darts in
Fourth leg is Neil to throw
leg
first.
2 for the
Game
break of throw. And as you say, had he hit that, he'd be walking off stage. A 3-0 winner.
80.
Duff applies the pressure immediately by ensuring that he scores straight away.
Well, someone has asked the question on YouTube, Murph. I'll allow you to explain it.
No
what happens
score.
effectively if all the players win by the same scoreline and they end up with the same points and the same legs?
Yeah, so, well, you've had the experience of it, haven't you, Mace? What happens is the group is separated by a
100.
9 dart shootout. Once upon a time, it went down to the averages, but it was felt by the powers that be that that was cruel. Colin Osborne missed out in Southampton. So instead, a 9 dart shootout was put in place to separate the players, with 2 players going through to the semi-finals, one, of course,
96.
losing out. Whoever got the highest score would be the group winner. Second would be the runner-up, and third would be heading home.
BFH, plus fair home.
85.
Yeah, so it's
And
9 darts.
And
All-
you were
yeah.
first?
Yeah, all 3 players play at the same time. You all have 9 darts, a throw each, then another throw each, then another throw each. And as Chris Murphy rightly said, the winner
81.
tops the group.
Yeah.
Second goes in P2.
And I should just clarify, the 9-dart shootout would not be double start.
Oh, yeah.
45.
Because I think it could turn into a 21-dart shootout if it was.
Yeah, under that pressure.
In this group, the other player is Conan Whitehead. He will take on both of these players tonight.
140.
Here is that question that we have quite a lot. What would you rather do? Be the first two on, or Conan will
133.
be on third, won't he, against Neil Duff?
Yeah,
I suppose when you go in second, you pretty much know what you've got to do.
yeah, mathematically there's a slight advantage in going last, but of course that brings its own pressure.
60.
Because
Now
you have the
requires
opportunity to go for a
58.
different target if you can, for example, use a 25.
Yeah.
Duff looking at tops.
Game show number 4.
Well, this one going 2-2.
Neil Duff.
And we did say it might take a lot to separate the players tonight, and this game is Exhibit A.
Fifth and final against Jim to throw first.
Everything
Game
has
on.
gone with throw. Only opportunity for the breaker throw was to Jim McEwen, leg 2. And he had 2 darts at tops off 54.
No score.
And now on throw, no score from his first 3, and Duff straight in. There may be trouble ahead for Chucky.
80.
Honestly, it's a match that Duff hasn't looked like winning.
What a recovery this is.
120.
He's had a 120 away twice and a 160.
100.
He's got away, hasn't he, of finding these big shots under pressure. I suppose it's the reliability of the throw, isn't it?
140.
Yeah, and just self-belief. This one is warming up nicely.
100.
Shame it's only best of 5.
Yeah, well, trial and error, isn't it? These special weeks, maybe there could be the opportunity in future to extend the format for finals nights, perhaps.
60.
Yeah, I think it would benefit. I think the players and of course the fans would enjoy it even if it was to just best of 7 on finals night.
I do think
45.
there is a beauty in the same format all week as well, which has been the structure of the Super Series since the start. So it's whoever has to make those decisions, weighing up what is lost and what is gained. But I certainly think that having this special week, having this double trouble week, has been a winner.
53.
Yep, have to agree. All the feedback I've certainly had has been nothing but positive. Now Jim
100.
is under it.
128.
This may have to go.
Who will be the winner of the opening match of finals night? Treble 20.
And Duff is yet to miss a dart at a double at the end of a leg.
63. Neil, you require 76.
It will just be the one. And that is all he
Game, shot
needed.
and
Neil Duff,
Neil Duff.
perfect in finishing doubles, and Duffman gets the job done. Jim McEwen, well, he will have felt he was a better player in the early part of that match, and he did have the higher average in the game, but 5 missed darts at double, some crucial ones in there as well, punished by Neil Duff, who was perfect at the back end of legs, including that fabulous 86 checkout. He steals a march in Group 1. In Group 2, the first match is about to get underway. It's Connor Scott against James Wilson after the break.
Hello, welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where it's the finals of Double Trouble, and already our former champion Jim McEwen is in a spot of that, and not for the first time has Neil Duff come from behind to get the better of Chucky in a big game. 3-2 victory for the former WDF World Champion, perfect in terms of his doubling to finish legs, and he may well see himself a step closer to the semi-finals a little bit later on this evening. Right, next up for us, it's Connor Scott and James Wilson. These two have already had battles here at the Super Series in 2024. Every single time they play here, they tend to get put in the same group as one another. They did so in Series 6, they did so earlier on this week, and they meet again. Connor Scott, well, he had the most comfortable route and passage through to tonight's final through Group B. He only dropped a couple of games en route to tonight's finale. As far as James Wilson is concerned, well, he rode a little bit of his luck en route to this particular passage in play. Robert Thornton having a bullseye, bouncing in and out on the back of a 170 combination in the final game of yesterday's session. But the Jammy Dodger is here, as is the Sniper, and earlier on this evening I caught up with both players.
That bounced out, and I thought, oh, no, I've got 61 left, and I thought, do not hit the bull, please do not hit the bull, hit the 25, and it went at 25, and happily, you know, straight into double 18, because I love double 18.
What did we learn about yourself in that moment under pressure?
I go up, and you've got to distance yourself from everything, just totally forget about, you know, what they have done and what's happened, just play your own game and just go up, compose yourself, and it's just a finish at the end of the day.
Out of those in the finals field, you're one of the very few who actually has experience of the World Grand Prix. Do you think that could work in your favour tonight?
Yeah, I mean, but Robert has as well. So, you know, I knew it was going to be a tough game with him last one, because we've both been in that tournament and we both know what it's like.
Obviously, last time you were here, you won all your group games, got through to the final, missed out in the semi against Tom Sykes. Does that give you an extra little bit of determination going into this evening?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said last night, you know, I think I got a bit overconfident last time I was here. This time I've been through some scraps, and now, you know, hopefully I can get over the line in this one.
And how much would you like to be the first winner of a brand new trophy here at Double Trouble?
Oh, I love it. I really would. But I'm practising well, you know, everything's going well, so it's all on the gods, really. Whether them darting gods are looking down on me or not.
I'm sure they're going to shine on you, James. All the very best.
Thank you very much.
New to yourself. Have you actually enjoyed it? Does it break up the calendar a little bit?
Yeah, I think I was saying to Chris yesterday, it's refreshing. It's nice to do something new. I mean, I used to like years ago when like a soft tip first started coming like into London and stuff like that. I played a few soft tip things, and I used to really enjoy that because it's something different. It's still darts, but it's just something a little bit different. So this is great as well.
Overall, how would you assess the way you played this week?
I don't think I've been at my best yet. There was a couple of signs yesterday, like I had a couple of 90 averages, and I don't think I had that on the first day as far as I'm aware. But I feel like I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with things. I need to sort my scoring out though. My scoring needs to get like better. I'm going in like over 40% of my doubles on the way in, which is good. On the way out, it's only 30%, so I need to up the doubles at the end and my scoring.
In terms of tonight, you won titles back in Southampton when this was another tournament. This is the first weekly special. There's a feeling in the practice room that everybody wants to win this because it's the very first of this special weeks.
I think there is, yeah. I think everyone would like to win this one, to be fair, because it's something different, it's something new, and if we don't do a double in, double out again, it means there's only one winner, doesn't it? There's only the one.
It could well be you. Connor, wish you all the very best. Good luck.
Fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Love that. And so does he.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It's Double Trouble Finals night, and it's time to introduce the players. Please welcome to the stage the Sniper, Connor Scott, and Jammy Dodger, James Wilson.
Well, the sniper will be hoping it is sealed with a kiss when it's all done and dusted this evening. The sniper up against the Jammy Dodger, our second game of the evening session, and these two have history when it comes to this competition. In the commentary box, let's hand back to the two Chris's.
Thank you very much, Henry. And yeah, it is a meeting between James Wilson, the Jammy Dodger, and Connor Scott, the sniper, as mentioned, the 27-year-old PDC World Championship participant in December at the Alexandra Palace here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth in February. And Huddersfield's finest, no, not me, James Wilson, who, well, that nickname really did feel a bit apt at the end of last evening.
First leg, it's Connor to throw first.
Who doesn't love a Jammy Dodger?
Game on.
Yeah, we'll start double 17. If you haven't been watching us this week, that is the Scut way.
73.
Yep, he goes double 17, treble 19, treble 20, and then 180, and then out on 170. Well, that's the plan.
56.
Yeah. 3 doubles can be used to start a 9-dart leg in double start. Double 17,
58.
double top, and the bullseye.
100.
James Wilson, who benefited from a bounce out on the bullseye when he beat Robert Thornton last night. And if you get the chance and you want to get a deep in-depth insight into the mind of a darts player, there's a good 10 minutes or so interview with him after that, and he actually did have empathy with what happened to his opponent.
60.
Connor Scott showing no mercy at the start of this one. Already opening his
25.
maximum account.
James, of course, on
95.
Thursday, the only player to beat Connor Scott. Was revenge
38.
last night for Connor as he got the better of James 3-2.
Yeah, they've had a mini battle, haven't they? Because they both came in the same week after losing the tour cards.
Yeah.
And Wilson
60.
actually won every single game in that group.
127.
I think Connor made reference to it on Thursday that he was pleased to eventually get the better of James, but ooh, double eight.
119.
Too close to the 16 there.
James
Could have bust, of
Maguire,
course.
130.
Robert Thornton may be watching somewhere and may turn his TV off if James Wilson ends up winning the opening leg on the ball. Doesn't need to now. Double 5.
120.
Close
Tommy
calls for
Maguire,
both players.
8. Game
But
shot on the
Scott
first
does
leg.
get the first leg in the
Connor
ledger.
Scott. Second leg is James to throw first. Game on.
James Wilson up and running.
75.
A dart 1. No, I'm not surprised he didn't stay there because that
60.
dart was blocking out the double 17. Lots of people making
96.
suggestions, most of them ridiculous, about what new formats we could use. I don't mind reintroducing the quadro board.
85.
Our friends at Wimbledon maybe could knock one up.
Yeah, so you can score 240. Or you can try.
56.
Yeah, I've seen some of those ridiculous comments as well. One said Chris Mason was the best commentator in the world.
Yeah, I didn't read that out because it was so ridiculous.
137.
Although there was another one by an absolute fool saying does her best.
98.
Some people have enjoyed their Saturdays.
Yeah, a little bit more than others by the looks of things.
And in future, come and enjoy your evening here at the Live Lounge. Be part of this unique show.
That would mean they'd have to leave the house. Ooh, your turn for a bit of
120.
misfortune.
There was a time when James Wilson would have more bounce outs than anybody. Really did suffer.
He did, yeah. He had to change a fair bit in the setup of his dart just to get them to enter the board slightly different. They actually weren't getting into their most aerodynamic position in time. But he does throw the darts quite hard, and players with very aggressive throws can suffer with that.
Yeah, switching away from double 17, Connor Scott.
No score.
Nearly knocked out the number. Going for the double 18 there.
Now, someone with a name I would rather not say live on air said, "No, I like this idea." He said, "Well, I sort of like half this idea. I wouldn't mind seeing a week of cricket." Right now, in some of the competitions in America, you can play cricket 0-1 if it's 1-1, or 2-2, so you play a game of cricket, game of 0-1, game of cricket, game of 0-1, and if it's 2-2, you go up for the ball, and the winner of the ball gets to, or the cork, as they say in America, gets to choose the final game in the sequence. And I think I've always thought cricket would work, but not as in a mainstream environment. But I think we'd be able to, with the time we have, maybe explain it to the viewers and explain how it works and the tactics of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure there is room for and a market for other formats to be watched by those avid darts fans. I know many of you are avid darts fans who tune into the Super Series.
Well, it's not been done. I mean, it's been done on the soft tip boards, of course, but I don't recall seeing too much.
I think one of the fears, Mace, for a large percentage of our viewers is that they will end up with empty pockets.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you'd get a betting angle on cricket, to be honest, but I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah, and if you are having a bet at the Super Series, please do so responsibly.
Yeah, keep it fun.
BeGamblerWare.org. Well, for the third leg of this one, James Wilson is going to have a go at 90, and I wonder if he'll gamble or not. Go for the treble 18 for his favourite double, or whether he'll go the approved route of 220s.
It's risky. Yeah, that's why it's risky. Forced in to go in double-double when you go for the treble 20, 2 single 20s, at least you get a dart at something.
Game shown the third.
Connor Scott takes full advantage. Wilson ran the risk and it didn't pay off.
Fourth leg is James to throw first. Game on.
Finds the double 18 this time.
76.
Well, it's following a identical pattern to that of the opening game.
No score.
Llewellyn said, "Bring back 301, nominate start."
100.
So you got I played in a league in the West Midlands where you had to nominate your starting double.
40.
To eliminate what you were talking about the other day about if you're using the side of the board, it gives you many options to start.
100.
Did have a bit of fun, our players, didn't they? During this week, where their opponent nominated their starting double, or the double they went for in a double trouble challenge that's going to be out on our YouTube channel tomorrow. Just because the live dart stops, the Super Series content does not.
40.
Real strong leg this from James Wilson.
James, you require 85.
Exactly when he needed it. He's averaging 10 points more than Connor Scott right now. Misses
30.
a single 20 for tops. Not too much damage done. You can not only see the tension, you can almost feel it, Murph.
Yeah, it's had that sense, and we'll see here as Wilson looks to take aim at tops and does hit tops, and this will be a tense leg once again. The first match went the distance, the second one goes to a fifth leg as well.
Fifth and final leg, it's Connor to throw first. Game on.
All week, of course, like every week, the doors are closed here at the Live Lounge, but on a
54.
Saturday the audience comes in, and a room full of people who give the very best of order actually creates more tension than the room just being empty, doesn't it? I think we saw that at the Circus Tavern as well. It was a bit of a throwback in the way the crowd behaved.
No score.
And a full room with total silence. It must be so tense for you guys on the stage.
Yes, but also very refreshing to be able to
58.
just focus, but it does add tension. He's up and running. And follows suit with Connor Scott.
113.
And the chase is on. Only 2 players can go through from each group. 6 super standard players for a Saturday night.
100.
Still very much in the balance.
139.
Yeah. Going bull there is sensible. Had it a single 19, wouldn't have been on a finish.
Correct.
100. Corner 167. $80.
As it turned out, didn't need to leave a finish. But Wilson could put pressure on here. Just one treble would do that.
60.
Doesn't get it.
Corner require 87.
Treble 17. So 20 and ball.
62.
I love that play. Didn't
James,
even
you
think about the
require
treble. Didn't risk it.
128.
Made sure he got a dart to win the match.
Wilson will have to find at least one treble. Now, we're going to have to find another. And he does find another for double 10. Oh, James Wilson with an incredible finish. The 128 after Connor Scott had just missed the dart of the bull for the match. The Yorkshireman steals the game away from Scott and gets off the mark in Group 2. It's going to be close this evening, there's no doubt about that. Everyone has had their opportunities so far. Duff beating McEwen 3-2, and now James Wilson. Look at that finishing as well. 3 out of 4, 75%. The 128 to win it for a 3-2 win against Connor Scott. We return to Group 1 after the break. Duff back in action against Conan Whitehead.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Welcome back to the finals of Double Trouble. Well, before the night began, there was conversations about whether the format should be best of 7 or best of 5. Well, the best of 5 format is most certainly delivering in drama so far. Before the break, James Wilson getting the better of Connor Scutt in a last leg decider, pinning a 1-2-8 to win the match, with Scutt having missed the bull on his previous visit to win the match himself. James Wilson is living a charmed life, isn't he, when it comes to the bullseye. Right, next up for us, Neil Duff is in action. He won our first game of the evening session in a last leg decider against Jim McEwen. A win here will see him through quite regulatory into the semi-finals. His opponent is Conan Whitehead, the first ever winner of a series under this roof, looking to become the first ever winner of a special week here, and the first ever winner of a double start week to boot here at the MODUS Super Series. And earlier on this evening, I caught up with Co to get his thoughts ahead of tonight's finals. Conan, something a little bit different for yourself this week. Double Trouble. How have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, I have enjoyed it at the minute, but I mean, tonight's a different story, straight knockout now, but so you've got a bit to fall back on when it's a group. But yeah, we'll give it a good go tonight.
Has this brought a little bit of your creative side out?
Yes and no. Like, I mean, you wouldn't usually start legs on the ball, but I've been doing it, and I'm planning to do it tonight if I keep missing that top hole.
Well, we know as fact for truth. Right, let's talk about your performances overall this week. Pleased?
Yes. Well, yeah, same yes and no again. Like, when I'm getting off, I'm throwing well. I mean, I got really nervous that last game yesterday against James because I knew if I'd have won that, I was in. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with scoring. It's just the doubles.
Tough group tonight, but you like these kind of battles, don't you?
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, you've got to play better people to get better. And I've not been in this environment for, well, probably about 8-9 months now. So, yeah, looking forward to tonight and the battles.
You were the first player to win a Super Series title. How much would you like to be the first player to win a special title in this competition?
Well, you know, to say I like to win the first ones, and then after that it's a struggle to defend them. But, yeah, I'm going to give it a good go tonight.
Well, we look forward to watch you play. Conan, all the very best.
Thank you very much, Emily.
Different route for Conan. But he moved away from the single 20 because he felt it was quite blocked that segment.
Give himself a dart at top to take out the opening leg. And he only needs a dart at top to lead 1-0. One dart at top. He has to move over to the left here, Conan. Finds it, 1-1.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Here are the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Double Trouble Finals night and it's time to introduce the players. Please welcome to the stage Conan the Barbarian Whitehead and the Duff Man, Neil Duff.
Conan getting a good luck message from his daughter Ada as he makes his way to the stage. For the first time this evening, we've already seen Neil Duff in the winners' enclosure so far tonight, getting the better of Jim McEwen in his opening match by 3-2. Right, let's find out the outcome of this one in the company of the two Chris's.
Yep, expertly put. Neil Duff knows exactly what he needs to do, having won the first match win, and you are in the semi-finals. The former Lakeside champ, who has had a weekly win here at the MODUS Super Series, of course. 51 years of age, looking for another, and any win would do for him. As for Conan Whitehead, he's had a series win. He got the first. Will he be the first to win a specials week? He needs a 3-0 win in this one, but of course he does have another game to play
Neil
against Jim McEwen.
Game on!
This time, Neil gets the darts. Was against throw in match 1.
No score.
Did produce a wonderful 86 finish to win that match against Jim McEwen 3-2. If you're just joining us, he was 3 out of 3 on his doubles. And here's a feature for you, Murph. James Wilson was 3 out of 4 on his doubles, so If they're going to keep that pace up
63.
all night, it's going to be quite incredible. James Wilson beating Connor Scott by the same scoreline, 3-2, taking out the 1-2-8.
60. $140. $140.
Well, here comes Duff
180.
doing the business again.
So our second max of the night. Connor Scott getting our first in the
42.
last match.
Now we require 118.
It's an unorthodox way to go, but it might work out for him here.
Game shot in the
Does
first
work out for
leg.
Neil Duff.
Neil Duff.
He is yet to miss a darter double this evening.
Second leg, it's Conan to throw first. No score. $80. $65.
Well, it's meant to be an evening of drama.
140.
But Neil Duff at the moment is going about his night with minimum fuss.
Yeah, drama free so far for the Duff man.
41. $60. $81.
Whitehead is a fierce competitor. He's very much made his name in this venue when he won that first ever series. Nobody really would have picked him at that point
77.
before a dart was thrown with all the names that have played on that stage, but nobody can ever take it away from him, and he's
60.
made
We
it
require 144.
to other Champions Weeks as well.
$60.
Yeah, he's not settled yet, has Conan. And I think that's the advantage of having that first game on stage.
78. Now we require
Already
84.
settled in the environment. Win or lose.
Great dart.
68.
Understanding the position in the leg there, Neil Duff. A little bit like the previous shot. Doubt he would have bothered going for the ball if
140. Now we
he
require
had not
16.
hit that treble,
Game shot the
hit that
second
treble
leg.
18, but he does hit the double
Neil
8.
Duff.
And there's Lisa Ashton, who was part of this double trouble week and will be part of next
So
week.
that gets Neil to throw first.
This is wonderful stuff so far from Neil Duff.
160.
So our second 160 off for the evening.
They're not followed by the third. You can see from the reaction, Conan Whitehead felt he probably needed to match him there. Because Duff's playing delightful darts in this game, averaging some 20 points more than his opponent.
57.
Yes, an average prior to that visit of 57, approaching 95.
100.
Yeah, he's on it this evening, isn't he? That's a wonderful adjustment.
98. $85.
And losing 3-0, if that's what happens, is an absolute disaster.
100.
Oh, we did see Neil Duff ping a lovely 86 bullseye finish, didn't we, in his
41
opening match?
To win
So
it.
you require 86.
Wants to win it the same way. Surely won't go that way now. He's been very sensible in this game, very professional, and he will just lay up.
46.
Yeah, he's been measured. He's taken no risks. He's fully aware of the threat of
100.
Conan Whitehead
So
in
we
this
require
match.
40.
To get it done. And Neil Duff is through
Neil Duff
to the semi-finals, a 3-0 win, following on from the 3-2 success against Jim McEwen earlier on. Whitehead will return and have a straight fight with McEwen in a couple of games' time. But Neil Duff, well, he can put his feet up and have a wait for the semi-finals. Great performance there. 3 out of 5 on the doubles. His doubling tonight has been absolutely exemplary. A 118 checkout in there as well. Conan Whitehead with work to do. He will fight out with McEwen, but Duff is through, and coming next, James Wilson takes on Daryl Pilgrim.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break we saw Neil Duff make it through to the semi-finals with a minimum of fuss, getting the better of Conan Whitehead by 3-0 and in double quick time in this double start format. Right, next up for us, it's our 4th game of the evening session. Chance to see the last player we're yet to see so far this evening, and that is Daryl Pilgrim, who has probably pound for pound been the best player over the course of the week. Mr. P finds himself in action up against James Wilson, who notched a 1-2-8 in the last leg to get the better of Connor Scott. Well, Pilgrim, who's won 3 weekly titles in the MODUS Super Series format, is looking to do so in this double trouble tournament. And earlier on this evening, I caught up with Pilgrim to get his thoughts, his assessment ahead of tonight's final. Daryl, something brand new for yourself this week. How have you found the double in, double out format?
I do enjoy it. As I said in the other day, I did used to play in the league double start, but that was so many years ago.
Does that give you a little bit of experience and a little bit of a heads up? Because there's some players here who have admitted they haven't played double start before.
I would say possibly, but when I say years, I mean I'm talking a good 13, 14 years last time I played in that league.
Well, let's talk about the current and talk about your performances this week. Did you expect to settle this quickly in a brand new format?
I was worried about not being able to get off in legs, but I found that double 16 straight away and just kept carrying on hitting it.
And that ton plus average on Thursday, only the 21st in the history of the Grand Prix format. That must be a little bit of a feather in the cap for yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a bit short format that I play, but I'll still take that.
Going into tonight then, we've seen you win weekly titles here under this roof at the Live Lounge. Would this feel a little bit different, maybe a little bit more special because it's a standalone one-off tournament?
Yeah, and it's the first one. You always want to be the first name, sort of thing.
And what are the feedback with the players? Because there's just a sense that this is a format that you'd like to play again, possibly.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it. We said we like maybe a longer format, like better than the usual best of 7. But yeah, definitely, I think everyone's enjoyed it.
But does that add an extra element, though, of possibly panic or other things that set in because it's so cutthroat best of 5?
Yeah, I suppose it can be the longer the format, the more you settle. Yeah, it's definitely cutthroat, double start, best of 5.
Well, we wish you all the very best tonight, Dal. Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
They don't get bigger than the fish, and Mr. P has turned his fortunes around. Wibble and a wobble, the others tend to follow suit. Another one of them leaves the bullseye for Darryl Pilgrim for 164. But it can still be done. 24. Bullseye for an act of rescuing.
Shot on the 4th flag.
To perfect chagrin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Double Trouble Finals night, and it's time to introduce the players. Please welcome to the stage Mr. P, Darryl Pilgrim, and the Jammy Dodger, James Wilson.
That so far this week, Darryl Pilgrim has been the premier player over this double start format. But James Wilson has dodged a few bullets so far. Last night, the 170 bounce out against Robert Thornton, and then in that last leg decider, taking the 128 out after Connor Scott himself missed a dart at the bullseye for the match. It's our 4th game of the session, and watching this one in the commentary box is Chris Mason and Chris Murphy.
Cheers, H. Yep, exactly the same scenario as the one that was faced before the previous match. James Wilson having won his opening game 3-2, just needs to win to go through. Darryl Pilgrim, who will get a second chance anyway against Connor Scott, can go through with a 3-0 victory, which is exactly what Neil Duff got in the previous game. Conan Whited and Jim McKeown will fight it out. A 3-2 win here.
James to throw first.
So Darryl Pilgrim keeps alive the hopes of a 9-dart shootout, and I know that everybody in the building is hoping that will happen.
And because we're a little twisted, so are we.
No score.
Yeah, except the players.
Yeah, they won't relish that opportunity, I can assure you.
Pilgrim has been a master of that double 16 start in qualifying for finals
35.
night, and he lands it again here.
Yeah, he's the most prolific in terms of starting legs and finishing
40.
them.
Well, thanks for tuning in this evening on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel, wherever you're watching, however you are watching, and please do give us a subscribe and make sure that you are alerted for all of the upcoming content whenever we go live.
Yeah, technology is fabulous.
57.
I actually just switch my telly on, press the buttons, select YouTube, and there it is, MODUS Super Series. It's the same as I select Sky or ITV4 for
137.
for anything else I want to watch. Incredible nowadays. I think they're called smart TVs.
So what you're saying is you can still watch the MODUS Super Series on your telly?
Well, that's how I watch it. But I can also watch it on my phone, on my laptop.
Yep. When I'm not here, I do the same, Mace.
180.
Watch a 180 in the living room and sometimes watch the checkout in the bathroom.
139. Now we require 49.
Do you have a TV in the bathroom?
I think they call it on the go. And Daryl
Hey,
Pilgrim
show
is
the
go,
first
go,
leg.
go. First
Daryl
leg
Pilgrim.
won in no time at all. Fabulous start for Pilgrim.
Second leg is
14
Daryl to
darter,
throw first.
signalling his intent for the evening.
Yeah, he's not bothered about not having played a game yet this evening.
36.
He is up and running.
I know some players will have a preference on when they play, but
36.
do you think there's any advantage, disadvantage in the finals night fixtures? You do have, for example, Neil Duff, who's already played both of his games before Daryl Pilgrim's played his first.
Yeah, I think there's. I think you earn
61.
advantage having played a game and then playing someone who hasn't played a game on that given night. I just think you're just a little bit more used to the environment. It's
60.
different to what it's been all week because we do have a crowd in. And of course, it's finals night, so there is a little bit of added pressure.
Yeah, may do some
100.
some focus group on that with yourself and other darts players who see what they come up with, because maybe there could be a shuffling of the pack in terms of who plays when.
139.
If everyone does deem it an advantage, for example, the Group A winner should be in the best slot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
At the moment.
But it does Simon, if it does very
98.
much depend on the player, because I mean, I've played league darts for many years. I hate going on when it's sort of randomly drawn. I hate playing first, and I don't particularly
41.
like playing last. But some players are players that always play first.
Yeah, I love it, don't they? A lot of the team captains will put themselves on first. 4 hours practice for a best of 3.
100.
This one could be over pretty quickly if Daryl Pilgrim has anything to do with it.
These
45.
two meeting
Now
for
we
the
require
first time this week, as they were in
106.
opposing groups.
He wants to finish where he starts.
90.
Can't quite manage it.
Will return to the one just north of his favourite double. Wanted to stay there, of course, trying to find a 140. Well, that's not a bad
Now we
second
require
prize.
16.
Makes the
Each on
adjustment.
the second leg. Daryl Pilgrim.
50% on his doubles. 2 from 4, averaging
Delegates James to throw first.
close to 90.
Game on.
Did average 91 for the day on Thursday.
156.
Well, that is a maximum start the way he goes, but it is a way that means he can't produce the perfect leg.
No score.
I remember one of my favourite legs in double start. I don't think we've even mentioned it this week. Alan Norris and Simon Whitlock. Remember that one? I think there was
140.
something like 19 perfect darts between them. But Whitlock, who won the leg, had started on double 16, so I think he went out in
71.
I think it was 10, you know.
Yeah, with Norris just throwing the 9, throwing second.
60.
We do get in touch your favourite double start memories. Maybe some of them have happened
99.
this week
James, you
at
require
MSS Darts
145.
across social media platforms.
Well, we've just been asked the question, is it back to normal next week for the MODUS Super Series? It sure is. It's
59.
week 1 of Series 7. Have a look at the MODUS Super Series social medias or on the website, and all the information is there for you.
97.
Yeah, and
Change of
I
require
believe you and Henry
86.
will run through the lineup a little later tonight as well.
We sure will.
A
Gets
wayward one.
Gets underway 9:30 on Monday morning.
Yeah, so this is a standalone special week, just for clarity. No
50.
qualification to Champions Week. But a nice trophy and a nice check at the end of it.
36.
Absolutely.
Game shot on the third leg.
James Wilson is in the hunt for that trophy.
Well, every leg that he wins gives him a
leg
better
is down,
opportunity,
just
doesn't it?
okay.
Having won his first match, it's going to be difficult for Connor Scott
111.
if this is 3-2 to Pilgrim, for example. He's going to be then needing
100.
a heavy win or a 3-2 win for a 9-dart shootout.
96. $131.
Just beginning
28.
to feel the pressure being applied by this man, James Wilson.
140.
Some leg. 100, 131, 140 to leave 130 after 9 on the Pilgrim throw.
180. James Record
So you
130.
answer that.
He took this out, didn't he, to win his previous match, but he got 2 trebles on that occasion. He couldn't get 1 this time around.
94. Salary require 86.
A 3-1 win here for Darryl Pilgrim still leaves all possibilities open in this group.
Was
45.
for the match.
James require 36.
Should be a good guide to his favourite double, and he
James on the
finds it.
fourth leg.
We do have a
James
level
Wilson.
game, and we're back on throw. James Wilson has the darts in the decider.
Fifth and final leg.
Been
It's
nothing
James
jammy
to throw first.
about this one, Murph.
Game on.
Well, yeah, if James Wilson wins, he goes through. If Darryl Pilgrim wins, then there's still the possibility,
40.
isn't there, of that 9-dart shootout we mentioned.
Sure is. If Connor Scott can defeat Darryl Pilgrim by that 3-2 scoreline.
108.
Yeah, the good thing for James Wilson in getting to 2 legs, that means for him now that's the worst possible outcome for him.
Yeah.
Any other outcome than that Mace has just mentioned, and he'd be through anyway.
180.
And he may be through anyway after this match because he's just fired in a maximum, making it 3 in the game, 2 for Pilgrim, 1 for him.
Yeah, and then it'll become
44.
just a straight shootout between Pilgrim and Scott.
Yeah, which is what we've got in Group 1 coming up next. Conan Whitehead and Jim McEwen.
57.
Yeah, made a bit of a mathematical boo-boo in the previous visit because he didn't leave himself an opportunity
87.
where he could have hit a 180 to potentially leave a finish.
Yeah, single 19 and 18 would have left him 350, for example. Paul Nicholson's favourite number. 129 will be on offer for Wilson to get the win. Under what kind of pressure?
He's got to go 18s.
98. James require 129.
Got to go 19s. 72.
Well, he loves double 18, so he could go double 18, double 18.
With Pilgrim and 164, he decides to go for the treble 20.
89.
Actually surprised he
Now we
didn't
require
go treble 12.
164.
It's the right play with your opponent back on 164.
104.
But he would prefer to be going for double 18
require
than tops,
40.
wouldn't he, James Wilson? If he hits it, he goes through. He has hit it, and ironically, it's bounced out.
No score.
That one has bent the wire. Unbelievable.
Well, that's exactly what
requires
happened
60.
against him last night. Robert Thornton denied him going through. Has the bounce out, denied James Wilson going through.
40.
He gets let off the hook. Crowd can't believe it.
Require 40.
Is James Wilson's name on pot, lad?
I'll try again. This time it stays in, and it means James Wilson stays in the tournament. He is through to the semi-finals, and it means that the knockout stages are pretty much going to start after the break, because Conan Whitehead and Jim McEwen and Darryl Pilgrim and Connor Scott will play effective knockout games. Duff through after winning both of his matches, and James Wilson through after winning both of his. So do not go anywhere, because it does become a straight shootout between the remaining players in the group. Whitehead versus McEwen, first up.
Hello and welcome to the quarterfinals of the Modus Super Series, because it is elimination knockout stuff from here on in. Before the break, James Wilson sealed his place into the semi-finals courtesy of his second 3-2 victory of the night, coming back from behind to get the better of Darryl Pilgrim in a decider. So 2 knockout matches for us before the semi-finals get underway. We're going to see Connor Scott in action very shortly. And actually, his supporters are right behind this window here, and they were going through the mill in that last game. But next up for us, we're going to see the return of Jim McEwen. He was edged out by Neil Duff in his opening game of the evening. He takes on Conan Whitehead, who was beaten by the Duff man to nil. But that is all irrelevant now because it is a straight knockout match. To get the boys on the stage, here's Owen Biggs.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Double Trouble Finals night and it's time to introduce the players. Please welcome to the stage Conan the Barbarian Whitehead, and it's Chucky Jim McEwen.
Will Chucky be chucking any more after this game, or will Conan the Barbarian Whitehead take this game by the sword? Let's find out in the company of Chris Mason and Chris Murphy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Henry. The knockouts start here, I suppose, as Conan Whitehead and Jim McEwen will have a straight fight. Whoever wins goes through in second place in Group 1, and then following it, Daryl Pilgrim and Connor Scutt will go head-to-head, and whoever wins that one will be runner-up in Group 2.
Yeah, no waiting until Game 7 for knockout darts. We're getting it right here, right now. And I shouldn't imagine either of these two thought they'd be in this position.
It's the strength of the field this week, isn't it? The amount of the players that aren't here tonight that played earlier in the week. Robert Thornton, the obvious example.
Yeah, there's a whole host of quality that
First
isn't
leg,
here.
it's Conan to throw
I
first.
say the
Game on.
likes of Kevin Painter, Mark Durbridge, Steve Brown, Robert Thornton, as aforementioned, Lisa Ashton.
No score.
Conan Whitehead was doing this in his qualification campaign. Bullseye third dart if he missed the 2 at the outer ring to get going. Not sure it's wise at this point when he's pretty much
60.
tiptoeing across the tungsten tightrope.
Also a name we haven't mentioned, Colin Osborne as well.
36.
Prolific winner here.
Yeah, Lisa Ashton has stayed around because she's playing next week. More on that as the night goes on.
58.
I was a little bit cruel to you, Chris, but I know you're not scared of giving your opinion in any sphere when I did ask you to pick a winner. Well, James Wilson was sitting next to you, right? But are you getting the sense that Destiny is playing its hand this evening? Wilson has ridden his luck not just tonight, but last night as well.
Absolutely. Well, it was ironic that the two that faced off against each other had produced so many clutch moments. And, you know, I'm a great believer if your name's on the pot, it's on the pot. No matter what goes on before you,
85.
you find a way to win. You think of the World Championships over the last few years and how many people have had to navigate their way around some tricky obstacles, ultimately facing match darts and going on to win titles.
Lovely maximum from Jim McEwen. Conan Whitehead was shaking his head with every dart that penetrated the treble 20.
Jimmy requires 63. $43.
Well, it shouldn't matter. Speaking of finding ways to win, of course, we have got 2 series champions going head-to-head in this match. Conan Whitehead won Series 1. Jim McEwen was a champion in Series 5.
20.
Both extremely proud of that accolade, and rightly so. Winning a week is one thing, winning a whole series is another ball game.
15. Cody,
As
you
is
require
hitting a double here
101.
for Jim McEwen. Ooh, wrong bad. Millimetres away.
61. Jimmy require 5.
Chooses double one here, Jim McEwen. He does like tops. You can understand
shot
why,
the first
but it
leg.
is fraught with
Jim
danger.
McEwen.
He pulls it off.
Yeah, there's no escape route on double one.
Second leg is Jim to throw first. Game on.
Conan Whitehead just not quite berating himself, but trying to create some kind of adrenaline.
No score. No score.
Well, a little bit of trouble getting in, but
40.
McEwen finally lands Old Faithful.
$60.
Conan will be desperately disappointed so far with how his evening has gone.
$129.
Yeah, he hasn't managed to win a leg yet.
Well, the bookies were unsure about this one. They went 4 to 5 Conan, 10 to 11 Jim McEwen.
$180.
Another max for McEwen. His second of the match. Conan's first.
180.
Back in the leg.
Yeah, what a response.
$112. Cody, you reckon 161.
Well, if he's going to win a leg, he might have to do it in sensational style because McEwen is poised
82.
on tops.
Jimmy require 40.
And so often there's only one outcome.
Back in the
Shot
groove.
Second leg. Jim
No
McEwen.
drama this time for Chucky.
Third leg, it's Conan to throw first. Game on.
And Whitehead now needs to do it the hardest way possible. He's lost 5 consecutive legs
60.
tonight. But if he wins 3 in a row, he will be through.
$80.
He's at the point now of no return. Has to be perfect
140.
from here.
$96. $60. $97.
Well, McEwen is edging ever closer.
60.
As long as he plays his cards right here, he will leave a finish first.
Ooh, that was tight.
Yeah, higher, Jim.
38.
Well, he folded when he should have been going all in.
100.
So Whitehead on a makeable outshot. McEwen looking to repair the damage from his previous visit here, and he's gone a long way to doing so with his first start.
122, can you require 81?
He does love the bullseye.
35.
He cannot get near it. Just has not been his night.
It can happen. We've seen it so many times before, of course. Tops.
48.
His
Coding
first
required 46.
match start.
To stay in it, to keep his hopes alive. Double 10.
36.
No, no, no.
Required
Co.
20.
A little bit of nervousness apparent here from Jim McEwen.
10.
Apparently, performance
Only
not affected
required
by pressure.
10.
They felt a little bit safe, didn't they? A little bit of trepidation the first
Absolutely.
two. Still, Conan's making it hard for himself.
No
and now he's
score.
made it impossible for himself.
Jimmy
Big
required
number miss.
10.
McEwen has a choice here. Straight for double 5 or 2 double 4. Straight for it. Good guide. And that
Game shot
does
on
the
match.
job for Jim McEwen.
Jim McEwen.
And completes the nightmare for Conan Whitehead. 3-0, 3-0, and he heads home. The Series 1 champ, defeated by the Series 5 champ, Jim McEwen, who joins Neil Duff in the semi-finals from Group 1. Now we'll head to Group 2 to determine who will join James Wilson. A straight fight between Daryl Pilgrim and Connor Scutt coming next.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where it ended up being a night of what could have been as far as Conan Whitehead was concerned. 2 3-0 defeats for the Barbarian means that it's going to be Jim McEwen that makes his way into the semi-finals in a few moments' time. So we know the identity of the first semi-final. It's Wilson up against McEwen. Our task now is to find out who is going to be taking on Neil Duff in the other semi-final. Connor Scott is in action. He was one of the favourites to go and win the title, as was Darryl Pilgrim. He was the outright favourite from the very first start, but these two are going toe-to-toe in an elimination match. The winner will make their way through. The loser will be heading all the way for home. It's effectively a winner stays on type scenario here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The Connor Scott Massive, who have been occupying the tables behind me here, well, they've been watching on with bated breath all evening. They'll be hoping that their man is still standing at the end of this, and whilst Mr. P is looking to be Mr. W here tonight. Let's get the players on stage with our MC, Owen Binks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Double Trouble Finals night, and it's time to introduce the players. Please welcome to the stage the Sniper, Connor Scott, and Mr. P, Darryl Pilgrim.
Well, these two were the favourites to pick up the title tonight. Connor Scott and Darryl Pilgrim, fancied by many to pick up the trophy and the jackpot, but these two are in an effective quarter-final now. The winner stays on, the loser goes home. The equation is quite simple. In the culture box for our final, I suppose we'll have to call it quarter-final now, is Chris Mason and Chris Murphy.
Yeah, perfectly put. Effectively is a quarter-final match this. We're right to play in the semis as the Group 2 runner-up, who will play the very next match. It'll be a short turnaround for the winner of this one. Pilgrim or Scott will take on Neil Duff. And Jim McEwen will play James Wilson in the second semi-final tonight.
First leg, it's Darryl to throw first.
Yep, they just
Game
have
on.
a short window to get whoever wins ready for the first semi-final. You won't have long to wait. It'll be a relatively sharp
32.
turnaround.
A change of plan for Connor.
No score.
He was going for double 17 all week at the start of legs. But he opts for
85.
tops at the start of this one without any success as well. He's way off.
Yeah, it's a long way off.
56. $135.
If you are just joining us safely through to the
$180.
semi-finals, Jim McEwen, Neil Duff and James Wilson. And the winner of this match will join the three.
Speaking of three,
180.
that is a 180 followed by one in response.
Double trouble. Double 180s.
98.
Yeah, no treble trouble.
Darryl requires 69.
Options here for Mr. P.
33 for 36. I like that play. Once tops.
49. Only require 167.
Sometimes a moment of magic. It's not going to happen this leg for Connor.
102. Darryl require 20. Game shot on the
Could have
first
got
leg.
a little
Darryl
bit sticky.
Pilgrim. Second leg, it's Connor to throw first. $96. 146.
That is perfect. From Daryl Pilgrim. We're seeing a lot of perfection in this game.
That's pretty perfect as well.
$134.
Could it be the perfect day for the Palace fan?
98.
Daryl Pilgrim.
$83. Can he require 127?
Yeah, great win for the Eagles, and he'll be hoping to
99.
fly high like one of
Can he
those.
require 138? $98. Can he require 28? Game shot on the
Connor
second
Scott levels
leg.
this one.
Connor Scott.
Real high quality battle this.
Yeah,
Like it's down to
99.52
throw
the average for
first. Game
Pilgrim.
on.
96.93 for Connor Scott. He would rave at those numbers with a flying start.
59.
Sticking to tops, got his range now.
120.
It was a very interesting dart, doesn't it? It's sort of a mould between something Simon Whitlock was using a year or two ago and something that Mervyn King used to use.
45.
Well, that sort of torpedo shape, but with a sort of 3 ridges in it.
Yeah, it's a scalloped dart, wasn't it? I did try
45.
them for a while.
Only seems to have grip right by the stem as well, so suggests that he holds it quite far back.
Yeah, very much like an Aspinall.
Whoa!
Well, they're the Palace colours.
180.
There is Mrs. P cheering on.
100.
Daryl's wife, Vicky. Decent darts player herself.
$60.
That was such an opportunity here to
$78.
heap pressure on the
So he require
157.
157.
Little practice swing for Pilgrim.
A bit of a ghost throw.
Trying to work from the bottom to the top of the board on the 157.
95. Can he require 158?
Another not in. Now, Pilgrim maybe could have used the
98.
bullseye with his last
So he
dart.
requires
I agree.
62.
He would have been guaranteed as long as he hit the single number to a double, his chosen double. Now he's only going to get the one.
Game shot
Only
the
needs the one on
third
that
leg.
target so often,
Daryl
Daryl Pilgrim.
Absolutely mustard on double 16.
Fourth leg, it's Connor to throw first.
Well, the averages in this game, and I'm going to say it now before they miss a few at double, 93.38, 93.95. Double start, that is excellent.
Oh, and look across all the metrics, Murph.
111.
2 180s each, 4 in the game. Both 50% on their doubles.
25.
Yep, stunning stuff, but here's Connor Scott running out of time here. There you see those missed darts at double at the start of the leg affecting Connor's average, but Pilgrim was straight in, so his has actually gone up.
85. $65.
Oh, he's had a nightmare here. 66 points the lead for Pilgrim, plus these.
$96.
Needs a max.
$93. 140.
Well, Daryl Pilgrim, almost there.
58. Daryl requires
Scott has
69.
been a great protagonist in this double start format. He's done his own thing his own way.
37.
Daryl Pilgrim should put him away.
And I think that was a play to get to 50 after dart 1 so he could leave his beloved double 16.
80.
And another one on the floor.
Daryl requires 32.
Yep, this to complete the win. His favourite double.
No score.
Surely not.
Connie
Seen
requires
some
140.
remarkable checkouts.
Yeah, some can't look. Usually he can't miss this target.
100.
But he can't afford to miss it now.
32. Game
And he
shot
doesn't.
and the match.
Daryl Pilgrim
Daryl Pilgrim
gets the job done. A 3-1 win over Connor Scott. And Mr. P is happy. Not quite as happy as Mrs. P. But it's a relief for Daryl, who averages almost 90. Only dropped below that because of those missed doubles in that last leg. But when it mattered, he struck that double 16 again. And he completes our semi-final lineup. He defeats Scott 3-1 and goes through. And we will have the semi-finals coming up for you very, very shortly indeed.
Hi there, welcome back to the MODUS Super Series where the group stage action has been completed and Daryl Pilgrim is the last player through to the semi-finals. And Connor Scott, one of the favourites to go on and win the night, has been eliminated. We've been watching all the action in the company of Mace, the ace, Chris Mason. He joins us here in the studio. Final four lineup for the quality, but maybe not the final four lineup we expected.
Well, you certainly didn't expect Daryl Pilgrim to be battling out in a shootout game, and the same could be said for Jim McEwen, it was what we expected. It was very hard to predict, very level playing field, and just Conan White had to be disappointed. He didn't show up tonight, but that happens. You know, you just try and get it all right on the day, and sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Well, let's analyse what we've seen so far this evening. Let's begin by talking about Neil Duff. He survived a scare or two against Jim McEwen, took out that finish late on, and then against Conan Whitehead ran out a convincing winner.
Yeah, even in defeat, he looked okay, and he's looked all business, hasn't he? He's been meticulous and measured. And I'm not surprised to see him go through. He started the night off rock solid with a 3-2 win over Jim McEwen, and really it was a steamroller job against Whitehead.
When Duff won the Lakeside, there was this inner belief and determination that he wanted to be the first player to pick up a title. There seems to be a similar feel about him here tonight.
Yeah, well, we had Conan Whitehead, who won our very first one, of course. I suppose for Neil, the way the things are with the WDF and probably that uncertainty about where his future is, and at the moment, this is his future, alongside the exhibitions, which he does many of, very popular player all around the UK and Ireland, of course. So I think this is very much his home at the moment, and a lot of players feel. James Wilson has said it, he absolutely adores playing down here. It feels like he's given him a bit of a place to focus on, away from the pressures and rigours maybe of ranking darts.
Let's talk about James Wilson, because he's been the king of brinksmanship, hasn't he, so far this week. He survived the bounce out against Thornton, then had to survive a match start against Scott, and then takes out the 1-2-8.
Yeah, and you know, listen, sometimes it's written in the stars, and if he goes on to win it, there's lots of clutch and key moments that we can discuss where he's managed to dodge bullets along the way. But yeah, Connor missing a ball, and obviously the ball for the 170 for Thornton last night. And let's not forget, he's a top quality operator. He's got himself in those winning positions for a reason, and you still have to take them.
Has he almost become a little bit, because of the last couple of years of the PDC, maybe a little bit of a forgotten man? And maybe this is reinvigorating a new life and maybe bringing himself back to the forefront again? Yeah,
I think that's what he said in his interview yesterday. He feels like he's enjoying playing again, and he's got a bit of purpose. He does run his own business, of course, which takes up a lot of his time. And if you're trying to balance running a business and trying to be a professional sportsman, no wonder he's relieved to have a bit of time away.
I was going to say, it's not easy mixing business and pleasure, is it, Mace?
Absolutely not.
Well, let's talk about the other couple of players that made their way through. Let's talk about Jim McEwen. Made it through courtesy of a 3-0 win against Conan Whitehead. Had his opportunities in the first game as well against Neil Duff. What would be your overall assessment of his evening up to press?
I think he looked a little bit edgy early on. I don't think he settled at all, but Jim's a kind of player very much like Neil Duff, that they tend to play themselves into a bit of form, and he'll have all the confidence in the world. That all four that's left will have absolute belief that they can take away the trophy.
So do you think now he's had that edgy game out of the way, if he's now fully settled in, we're going to see a better version going forward?
Yeah, I think we'll see a better version of all four players. The last thing you want to do is not get out of those group stages. Once you're in the semi-final, you sort of understand the scenario from here. They've all been there. They all know how to win one. And you just settle. You straight shoot at darts. There's nothing, you know. There's no legs difference and legs one to look at. It's simple. You get out there, you play well, and hopefully win, and you get in the final, and you do the same in the final.
Well, we'll talk about Darryl Pilgrim in our semi-final preview, but I just want to have a quick word on Connor Scott, who had that dart at the bullseye. Didn't happen in that first game against James Wilson, and then, well, he had bounce out City there against Darryl. Yeah,
he always just looked to step behind Darryl. It's hard to work out where Connor's game is right now. He's a super talented player, as we know from Southampton, where we got to see a lot of him. You know, I said it at the time. I thought the tour card came a little bit too early for him. I don't think he was fully prepared, and maybe he's had a little bit of a knock in confidence, but he works hard, and when talent works hard, then eventually there will be results, and I think he'll bounce back stronger.
And we will see him in Series 7 in the not too distant future. Right, let's talk about our semi-finals then, because the lineup has been completed. Our first game is between Neil Duff and Daryl Pilgrim, and then we will see James Wilson face off against Jim McEwen. In regards to Daryl, we saw maybe a little bit of shakiness at times in the groups.
Yeah, I think he's feeling the pressure of being favourite, and he has played so well this week in long spells that, you know, that comes with its own pressure as well. But two different types of players. You've got that rock solid nature of Neil Duff and that flair player in Daryl Pilgrim. It's a fascinating matchup.
So how do they meet in the middle, particularly in this format, do you feel?
I think it's the perfect format for them to gel. I think it's going to come down to the reliability of Duff or the flair of Daryl Pilgrim. And again, it could be a match that just comes down to doubles.
And in regards to the second semi-final between James Wilson and Jim McEwen, you just get the sense that they're two players which, again, talking about stars, they meet perfectly in the middle, and that will make a good match.
Yeah, two players that no-nonsense kind of players, just get up there and throw darts at the board, and what will be will be. But their pace will suit each other as well. They're quite measured players, and I'm looking forward to that one as much as I'm looking forward to the opening game. Two real fascinating games, a clash of similar styles, and then in Neil Duff and Daryl Pilgrim, two totally different players. Like I say, it may come down to one big finish in either a match, just one of those clutch moments on the doubles.
Out of the four players that are in the semi-finals, who stood out the most for you?
I think they've all had their moments. I don't think who would be the easiest question would who would be the happiest on the level of play so far, and I don't think any of them will be particularly happy. They'll be happy with certain moments and winning certain matches to guarantee qualification into the semi-finals. I just still feel that the one that may have that extra gear in the locker is possibly Daryl Pilgrim. He was my pick on Monday, and I've not seen anything really to change my mind. But as we know, it's all on the day.
As we know, we spoke, didn't we, at the beginning of the night, about the format of tonight. It's still going to be best of 5 as opposed to best of 7, and what that could mean. But if anything, actually, it's provided more drama. It's been a great leveller.
Yeah, well, after the first round of matches, myself and Murph were looking at it thinking, there's a great likelihood here we're going to have a 9-dart shootout to add even more drama. But in the end, it didn't quite play out like that way. But listen, you can see the players are loving it. It's a great challenge, and it's a different discipline. And when you've sort of just played the same thing over and over and over again, the players do relish that opportunity.
And I know there's plenty of players that want to play a double start week here as well. I don't think we're going to be
I want to
seeing
do a series. I want to do a series.
Now we're talking. Right, let's get into the semi-final action then, shall we, and see who's going to be the first winner of a double start week here. At the MODUS Super Series, Neil Duff won the first ever Lakeside title, and he'd be the type of player that would relish getting a first on this particular trophy. He takes on Daryl Pilgrim, who's looking to win a 4th weekly win here at the Super Series. These two heavyweights are going toe-to-toe next.
Get it done. Now Neil Duff is through. But he can't afford to miss it now. And he doesn't.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is finals night and it's time to introduce the semi-finalists. Please welcome to the stage Mr. P, Daryl Pilgrim, and it's Duffman, Neil Duff.
Here we go then, it's time for the semi-finals here at Double Trouble. Just 3 more games remain to see who the victor is going to be. Neil Duff's won a couple of weekly titles here. Daryl Pilgrim's provided a hat-trick, but who is going to take the spoils in this one? It's Crystal Palace up against Rangers in terms of the football teams they support. It is England up against Northern Ireland. And in the commentary box, Chris Mason is alongside Chris Murphy.
Could have said Chris Still, Henry. How about that? As Neil Duff completes his final practice starts, and Daryl Pilgrim, here's his opponent. Duff, well, he's the one who dominated his group. Pilgrim was the one expected to do that, but didn't quite manage it, although he did play particularly well in the all-important straight shootout with the sniper.
But by virtue of winning the group, Murphy gets the advantage of starting first. The only match at the Super Series where they
100.
bull up for the honour of throwing first is in the final.
Certainly is.
No score.
And of course it's less of an advantage, isn't it, now that it's a double start week, but Duff's made it work handsomely in his favour here because he's off and Daryl is not.
Pressure being firmly applied this time. Nails the double 16, which he's done with such regularity this week.
Lisa Ashton still watching on in the audience. She's going to be in action next week, the first week of Series 7.
Back to normal next week, to the relief, I'm
60.
sure, of a lot of the players involved.
$100.
Neil Duff first down to a finish after 12 darts.
$59. Now we require 160. $60.
He's looking for the 9 count on the 19s to leave a straight turn.
101.
And that other option,
100.
if you hit 4 in 2, you can go for the ball, hitting a 25 to leave the big fish. And that was a safe one at tops,
60.
especially
Now we
with
require
Pilgrim on 170.
Neil Duff, I mean, we were talking about whether or not it might be James Wilson's
105. Now we require 40.
name on the pot. Neil Duff is just breezing through everything so far tonight.
Yeah, and he's
Duff.
gone under the radar this week, hasn't he?
And there is a man who's
to throw first.
a potential final opponent for Neil Duff, who actually predicted this would happen. Jim McEwen said to us on Wednesday when he qualified through Group A, Duff will make it through.
108.
It gets better as the week goes on. He might be wishing that he was wrong if he does meet him in the final.
80.
How does Pilgrim respond from being a
100.
leg down and in a race to threes, already under the cosh?
$100.
Wilson and McEwen playing next.
46.
Yep, that's semi-final number 2.
100.
We'll be getting straight into that one before another short little break, just to give the player who wins that second semi-final a little bit of time to prepare for that all-important final.
100. 100. Now we require 147.
Treble 18 was the second target there for Daryl Pilgrim. Now snookered, certainly will be if Duff can...
123.
He's done it. He's done the 1-2 on a couple of times this week, hasn't he?
Yeah, can he clear it again? Oh, he's going to get a go. As long as he stays on that 11, which he doesn't. First big mistake for Neil Duff tonight. Treble
Now we
chasing.
require 24.
Yeah, risky business in a race to 3.
Right on the wire, that. And he's having to shuffle across.
Game shot on the second
Can't
leg.
begin to tell you,
Daryl
Murph,
Pilgrim.
how good a dart that was under the circumstances. Even in
Well,
practice,
against Neil
you
to throw first.
give yourself a little pat on the back when you find one of those. Duff unaffected.
120.
Off and running again.
Well, it's another one of the beauties of this format, isn't it? You get the chance to give an immediate response. You don't have to wait another full leg
96.
just to hit them where it hurts. You can get the double straight away to start the next leg. Pilgrim also unfazed. He was off with dart number 1 as well.
100. $96. $81.
Well, 139 will leave 170 here.
$99.
What is that? Is that MVG down there? Nice of him to come out and support the Super Series.
140.
I do, yeah. Passing resemblance. Certainly got the right shirt.
50%er. Look-alikey.
Well, Daryl Pilgrim's played the darts of him at
170.
times. And that was one of those times.
160.
Good call.
Well, Duff has remained unfazed so far tonight. Pilgrim pressurises.
Game shot on the
Duff
third
does
leg.
not buckle.
Neil Duff.
That was very much a Duff.
Fourth leg, it's Daryl to throw first.
In fact, the perfect Duff moment was the 170 that Robert Thornton
36.
narrowly missed by virtue of hitting the bull wire.
And he's in again.
80.
Is Neil Duff going to be the first finalist? He was very disappointed with his performance at the World Seniors last week, he said so
140.
himself, but what a difference a week can make.
$45.
Still in the balance, though. Remember, it is only a short race to 3 legs.
96.
Daryl Pilgrim, a very, very capable player. Don't write him off yet, and he's looking good in this 4th leg. 2-2-9 after 9.
100.
No, write him off at your peril.
$100.
Well, slightly surprised there that he didn't come down for the 19s. 130, a much better finish than 129.
121. Now we require
2 tricky finishes. That leaves 72 options. Double 18 was one of them.
Now we require
Yeah, safe
155.
attempt. And he will return for double 18 to force a last leg decider in this
95.
opening semi-final.
Now we require 36. Game shot on the 4th leg. Darrell Pilgrim.
Almost deserves a final leg. Averages
Fifth and final against
89.06
Neil to throw
Duff,
first.
89.2 Pilgrim. 2 out of 3 on the doubles for Duff, 2 out of 4 for Darrell.
50.
Locked together.
$32.
Well, it all comes down to this. One leg of darts for a place in the big money match.
100. $140.
Great visit from Pilgrim.
$57.
In the background you can see Darrell just keeping the arm loose.
$96.
Well, a lot will depend on this next exchange of darts. Does Duff get down to a finish? Darrell Pilgrim should be able to leave one without trouble from 2-3-3. May see the bullseye come into play at the end of this visit. Doesn't need it now. What timing that is.
171.
He fills up the treble 19.
Incredible. Got away last start.
100.
Followed it up with a 140,
Now
a
we
96, a
require
171 to leave 62 to make the final.
2 darts, a double 16.
46.
Oh, a double that's been so
Here we
kind
require
now.
94.
What does Duff do here, Murph?
He's gambled. Surely double. No, he's gone for the treble. It's paid off. He gets a dart. He gets a win.
Shot and the match.
Neil Duff
Neil
has
Duff.
robbed Darrell Pilgrim, who had a couple of darts and his favourite double 16 to win that match. But Duff backed himself on trebles on the 94 and carries on his winning run tonight. What a finish to that game. The drama continues on this double trouble week at the Super Series, and it is Duff who is the first through to the final. What a way to end that game. The finishing from him has been absolutely sublime tonight. It stayed the same in that game, and one more and he will be the champion. Who will play him? James Wilson or Jim McEwen in the second semi-final coming next.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Welcome back to Double Trouble, where Neil Duff is one game away now from picking up the title. Duff, the denier of Darryl Pilgrim, by 3 legs to 2. Duff doing his work in last leg to side as Pilgrim, the odds compiler's favourite to go on and win this week, has been eliminated at the final 4 stage. So to our second semi-final we go, and we see James Wilson, who I suppose has been Jammy Dodger by name, Jammy Dodger by nature. He made his way through, but goodness me, as he had to survive some scares en route, up against Jim McEwen, who won a winner-takes-all battle against Conan Whitehead in his last match. It's our second semi-final, and it is almost game on.
This time it stays in, and it means James Wilson stays in. And that does the job for Jim McEwen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is finals night, and it's time to introduce the semi-finalists. Would you please welcome to the stage, it's Chucky, Jim McEwen, and the Jammy Dodger, James Wilson.
So here we go then for the right to take on Neil Duff in the final. James Wilson and Jim McEwen go toe-to-toe for that place in the finale. It's sealed with a gentlemanly handshake before, but it is going to be all battle on the hockey. In the commentary box, Chris Mason, Chris Murphy.
Thank you very much, Henry. Well, follow that. What a wonderful game we have just had between Neil Duff and Darryl Pilgrim. Neil Duff just taking out a clutch 94 to edge over the line to take his place in the final. Who will he meet? Will it be James Wilson? Will it be Jim McEwen? It's the double J in Double Trouble.
Yeah, the 51-year-old from Huddersfield plays the 56-year-old from Maybole, but will he be dancing at the end of the darting tonight? Jim McEwen, Chucky, the champion of MODUS Super Series 5.
First leg, it's James.
You may see in the background as well, Darryl Pilgrim has packed his bags and he's about to leave the venue after that 3-2 defeat to Neil Duff, who awaits the winner of this one. Double 18 has been such a big part of Wilson's game this week. A man who's certainly enjoying himself at the Super Series.
Yeah, he's having a charmed few days so far.
115.
As I said, it's you get given opportunities you don't expect. You've still got to put the doubles in. He's been doing that aplomb.
Yeah, we're going to see a battle between tops and 18s in this game. It will be a first for somebody, 57. The first special week. For Jim McEwen, it could be a bit of a double, couldn't it? Series champion and a special champion.
Yeah, special achievement.
As for Wilson, it would be his first weekly win. It looked like he was going to blow away the field last time he was here. Won all of his group games.
Well, didn't he win 12 successive matches?
Yeah, he did. So every group game, including his finals night group games, but then lost to Tom Sykes, his fellow Yorkshireman in the semis. But what a find Tom Sykes has been.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
80.
Chance for Jim McEwen. Maybe looking at the 9 count on 19s. That's not going to happen. May stay there. 95 leaves a straight ton. Oh, yeah. There was no room at the inn.
43. James, you've got 155.
McEwen will be returning for 152.
57. Jimmy require
60, 32.
Yeah, and James Wilson still left himself a bit to do on 98.
$94. James, you require 98.
Was looking for 2 tops. Jim McEwen will be looking for 1 once he hits a single 18.
58.
Can he find tops?
$48. James, you require 40.
To hold.
Yeah, both having a little
James
battle
on
with
the
that
first
target,
there.
but
James Wilson
finds it.
Second leg is Jim to throw first. Game on.
Whose name did we determine was on the pot, as he often put it?
James Wilson, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's looked like Neil Duff tonight as well, hasn't it?
60.
I mean, that 94 finish in the previous semi was a shot worthy of winning the title.
Absolutely, under that much pressure. Having seen your opponent miss
101.
2 at his favourite double 16.
And it was the old Barneveld philosophy, wasn't it? I'm going to back myself to hit a treble with one of my 2 first darts.
Yep.
58.
And it's becoming more and more common, isn't it? In fact, you rarely see the players now take on the ball in finishes between
23.
91 and 95. They tend to go all out aggressive.
Yeah, it's either 2 goes at a treble or 2 goes at a double.
140. $85. $140.
Back-to-back 140s when he really needed them.
$100. Jimmy require 103.
$14 double 16, Mace.
Game shot on the second
No mistake
leg.
this time for
Jim
McEwen. 1 apiece. It's going like the way of our first semi-final.
First. Game on.
McEwen averaging in the 90s. The only real mistake was the missed doubles in leg 1.
No score.
Been some close encounters tonight. Jim McEwen was beaten 3-2 in his opening match with Neil Duff. He's hoping that the first match is the same as the last match tonight.
No score.
But he did beat Conan Whitehead 3-0. James Wilson got a 3-2 win in each of his group games.
80.
That really is darting destiny stuff. Keep winning in last leg deciders, particularly when you consider how last night ended for James Wilson as well. 3-2 victory over Robert Thornton, who well, had a bit of bad luck, shall we say.
Fabulous response, that. He'll be fuming about the previous visit where he missed 3 at a double.
140.
James Wilson the jump.
Also means that 9 perfect darts won't count as a 9-darter.
That'll be
81.
a 12-dart 9.
Yeah. Oh, that was far from perfect, wasn't it, Dart? I've lost count now. Dart 5 or Dart 8?
100.
Still, he could be the first to a finish, as long as he keeps them straight and in there.
No straying this time.
100.
But he really fancied a second treble. You could see from his reaction.
Yeah, Dart 1 was begging for a bedfellow.
60. Jimmy require 160.
Advantage McEwen. Started with 160. Can't finish with 160.
It would have done it in reverse. James Wilson
58.
wants a 1-2-1.
James, you require 121.
McEwen hasn't really left it as handy as he would have hoped. Treble 17. No. So no go at the bull.
57. Jimmy require 102.
It's the kind of shot he's already taken out a 103 in leg 2. Shots still on. Treble 19 will leave him tops. Yes. Tops for a breaker throw and a 2-1 lead. Huge moment.
62. James, you require 64.
So, having survived, can he thrive? Double 16.
32. Jimmy require 40.
Two tens.
Game's on the third
McEwen
leg.
finds it.
Jim
He's one
McEwen.
away.
And has the darts to do it.
Fourth leg, it's Jim to throw first. Game on.
Making use of them as well. Oh, what a start.
160.
This time it is the first three.
Yeah, and his second in the match.
No score.
And to make it even better for McEwen, Wilson does not get away. Get up was the call from McEwen, but he is getting away
100.
dart by dart.
No score.
That should be just about that.
$140. No
Well,
score.
it could be game over in the
You
most
require 101.
frustrating fashion for James Wilson. No player has been brushed this week. That's losing a leg without scoring a point. Could be about to happen.
Oof.
57.
That's all he's thinking now. Please, please, please.
40.
Thank goodness.
Jimmy require 44.
Well, I think there was a little chuckle while Chucky was throwing there because James Wilson is showing some sign of relief.
24.
And they won't be the only 40 points he scores in this leg.
Jim McEwen will show some signs of relief. If he hits this double 10 to take
Jimmy
his
require
spot
20.
against Neil Duff in the final.
That's where we started tonight. The first match was Duff versus McEwen. Wow.
No score.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mace. If if James Wilson wins this leg, then his name really is on pot.
I thought he was about to hit a max.
140.
So,
Jimmy
at the
requires
third
20.
time of asking, Jim McEwen, you require 20.
Game
Better late than never.
match.
Jim
Jim
McEwen
McEwen
makes it through to the final. James Wilson's excellent run at Double Trouble has come to an abrupt end, and we saw the brutality of the format. Failed to get away in that leg, almost got brushed by Jim McEwen, but he is beaten by McEwen, who wins the second semi-final 3-1, and in the final he will face Neil Duff.
Well, welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we know our two finalists in Double Trouble. Neil Duff and Jim McEwen are going to face off for the top prize and the trophy. Well, we begin the night the way that we started. Didn't have to play the other games, mates, did we?
Well, it's incredible when you think how it all started off on Monday morning, and I think it was Jim McEwen who said he's going to meet him in the final, and well, mystic Jim McEwen.
In some senses, will Jim McEwen feel, because of what happened in that quarter-final we brought up at Lakeside a couple of years ago, will he feel like this is possibly some way of getting some kind of avengement from that?
No, it's just a completely different. It means a completely. That's for a world title. That's something that both of those players have chased for many years. He's beat him since then anyway. So. That's all history. This is just about winning something new. It's a special week. It's a bit unique. It's a great promotional tool for the players and us, and the fact that the players have embraced it so well and got right behind the idea. There's a lot of players that have gone, no, I don't fancy that, but this group jumped at the chance, and credit to them. And it's going to be a fascinating final.
Most certainly. We'll talk about the final a little bit more in just a second, but let's dissect the two semis that we've just seen. We'll begin with Neil Duff, who has been asked all sorts of questions this week, and when his back's been against the wall at times, he has come up with the answers. He did so again against Darryl.
Yeah, he just knows how to produce. He just knows how to. He seems to have this ability to peak. When you think back to that World Championships, he was in a world of trouble, as you've already mentioned, against Jim McEwen. But it's the way he managed to play himself into form throughout that tournament, and he's done it here so many times now. It's something that we talk about frequently. That don't worry about what Neil Duff does on a Monday or a Tuesday or Wednesday. You'll start to see a little bit of a turnaround. Thursday and Friday he seems to go through the gears, and we know he's had his traumas on a Saturday night, and until he eventually got over the line and won one, and that's all he'll be thinking about. I've done it. I've been there. I've done it. I've done it winning a world title, and I've done it winning it down here at the Super Series. So he'll have no fears at all. He'll go up there and just be all business, because that's what he's been tonight. He's just looked razor sharp and switched on.
And it's a little bit of lineage as well, as far as Neil Duff's concerned, because the last time he played here, we didn't play Champions League because of the World Seniors. So he could be in this position where he's won back-to-back titles when he's come here.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he's just. They're both very similar characters. They both just love playing darts and winning tournaments, whether they be, one's locally for a couple of £100 or down here or at Lakeside or at the seniors. And it's they just love to play darts and love to compete.
As far as Jim McEwen's concerned, that semi-final against James Wilson, it was kind of the typical Jim McEwen performance. It was solid, not many mistakes. When it mattered, he came up with the goods.
Very much like Neil Duff. That's why I said they're very, very similar players. They have a type of approach that more often than not will put them in good stead, or certainly give them or create opportunities for themselves to win matches and legs. I like Jim McEwen. He's a real old school type of player. He really focuses every dart. There's never a wasted dart with him. He's a top player.
And that was probably magnified actually in that last leg against James, because even though James Wilson was so far behind, there was still no relaxation. Or maybe there could have been some naivety from other players in that scenario.
Yeah, you can almost get drawn in, start to laugh and joke about it, and the fact that we very nearly had our first brush. Thankfully, that didn't happen to James Wilson. But even those 3 darts at double 10, they were right on the wire, and the double 5, which could have been really sticky in that situation, he just sat tight and found the target.
We'll talk about the final in a little bit more detail in just a second. We're just going to pause to talk about next week. Series 7 gets underway on Monday morning, and we can have a look at the groups now for you. I just get the sense, looking at this lineup, every single player is going to look at that as an opportunity, in particular Reece Robinson.
Yeah, it's a very winnable week. We've seen Shane before, and we've seen him play some good stuff up there. We've seen how well Lisa can play on that stage. Nathan Gervin, who's currently playing on the Dev Tour, he's had a couple of good runs over the last couple of days. Jamie Kellen, a player that we remember from Southampton and has had success. First I saw Bab Patel was in the Worlds. Nice action, but looked very inexperienced. And Reece Robinson, a player who I've been seriously excited about the last year. He's another one of these flair players, takes on shots that I wouldn't even think about. But it's a good week, and it's a wide open week. Not looked to the betting yet, but I presume they've made Reece Robinson quite a lively favourite for the week.
Human highlight reel will be back at the Super Series next week. But our focus and attention now is on the final of Double Trouble. Before we talk about Duff against McEwen, this was something that's an experiment, something new, a special week. We began with a double in, double out, and like anything, of course, there's going to be questions beforehand, but they've been answered emphatically here. It's been a great week.
Yeah, the feedback's been incredible. The response from the players has been superb. You've seen how much they've enjoyed it when they've spoken in interview, how much they've enjoyed just having a refreshing change and something a bit different. And that's what it does. It just freshens you up a little bit. And it's something that I hope they do again. I know there's plans for different types of special weeks, but yeah, I think the double start works. I think we could get away with doing a series, that's for sure.
Mace is petitioning for that series. Well, let's talk about the final now. Neil against Jim. We've been speaking about how they're both similar types of players and how that will play into each other's hands. So by that basis, what do you think the major difference could be in this match?
The pressure of the situation and who handles it the most. With it just puts a completely different spin on the game. The fact that it's double start and it's who handles that the best. I don't think it's going to be about what the players hit. It's going to be more about the missing at the start of legs, and that's going to be key to victory. It's the player that's going to get off and then pressure the opponent because they're the ones getting away first. It's hard to split them, and you know me, I don't have splinters. I'll go out and pick a winner. 51-49 Duff.
See, no splinters, Mason, there. Right, thank you very much for your company for now. We'll see you after the final, where we're going to see who the first ever double start champion is going to be here at the Super Series. Is it going to be the first ever WDF World Champion, Neil Duff, or is it going to be a man who's already run under this roof before, Jim McEwen, the Series 5 champion, looking to add a special title to his already Series win? The action is about to get underway.
No, he's gone for the treble. It's paid off. He gets a dart. He gets a win. Neil Duff. Better late than never. Jim McEwen makes it through.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Double Trouble Finals night, and it's time to introduce the finalists. Firstly, would you please welcome to the stage, it's Chucky, Jim McEwen. And now, would you please welcome to the stage, it's the Duff Man, Neil Duff.
A place in history awaits one of Neil Duff and Jim McEwen. The victor will pick up the first ever double start title here at the Super Series, or win the first ever special series title here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Is Chucky going to chuck his way towards success, or is Neil Duff going to enjoy another happy hour here at the Live Lounge? It's a big game, big prize at stake, and a big match commentary team. It's Chris Mason alongside Chris Murphy.
Yes, indeed. Chucky, the Series 5 champion, takes on Neil Duff, the Lakeside World champion, in the final of Double Trouble, which comes to an end at the end of this match. And another former champion has been watching. We've had a nice message from a certain Luke Littler, who of course handed his trophy, the one he held for 2 full series, to Jim McEwen at the end of Series 5. Thanks for getting in touch, Luke. He said, may the best man win, and indeed, we hope that is what happens here. But who has been the best man 65 so far?
Do you know, Murph? I don't think you get a piece of paper between them. I tell you who's been the best man on the finishing.
100.
And that is Neil Duff. He is running at 75% for the night.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that Littler managed that when he was here, did he? That is remarkable.
42.
Finishing from the gods.
Oh, it's remarkable.
Well, it will be a first.
100.
And it won't be the last. Maybe.
We will get a separate roll of honour for the Specials Week's winners. Now, we're not going to reveal yet what the next set of Special Weeks are. That will happen at some point during the next series, but I'll give you a little hint. Not all of the players that have played this week will be eligible. There, I'll leave it at that.
95.
Tease, Murph.
I know it's not the commentators' week that people keep requesting.
Well, that's already been done. All the commentators have played in a week, haven't they?
Not all of them.
Well, excluding you, Murph, but we do have there is a time limit.
Yeah, I've got a holiday in April.
60.
Right, 146 for Duff in this opening leg of the final against a throw.
Yeah, Neil Duff lost the ball.
100. Now you require 146.
Instantly, he's able to apply some pressure. 42 for 32. Ooh,
83.
That's a poor dart because
you require
he's going to need a requisite treble to get 2 darts at a double. And he will be getting a go at 63. There's going to be pressure on it, irrelevant of where this dart goes. Treble 10.
87. Now he requires 63.
Treble 13. Single 10 leaves tops.
43.
Neil Duff has been deadly on the doubles,
Now he
as
require
Mace
56.
has mentioned, but on that occasion he couldn't find it.
Yeah, this is a bit of a let-off for Jim McEwen. It's been his friend for the majority, this double.
36. Now we require 20. Game shot on the first leg.
Duff.
Neil Duff.
Puts it right pretty quickly. Well,
Second leg is
still
Neil to throw first.
stunning.
Game on.
On the outer ring. Did miss a couple of darts there, but what was it, 9 out of 12? That's become 10 out of 15.
Yep, which is still
66.6 recurring.
You're not going to lose too many games
79.
with those kind of numbers.
Yeah, devilish finishing from Duff.
Devilish on the red bit.
180.
Well, it turns out that Jim McEwen's an absolute mastermind. Mentioned it earlier, but it's worth saying again that when he won Group A on Monday, he sat there and said he expected Neil Duff to join him, despite the fact that Duff wasn't really
140.
competitive in terms of not just getting through Group A, but even getting into Group B. He fell into Group C.
Yep, he played better on the Wednesday,
140.
and then continued to improve, but he did come through Group
100. Now we
Group C
require
in
106.
second position. Was a playoff game with Mark Durbridge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was between those two.
58.
Darryl Pilgrim sort of dominated that group, only lost a couple of games. But McEwen got it right, and as you, to be fair, Mace, did say early in the week that Duff does have a tendency to work his way into a week.
Yeah. It doesn't
81.
well, in the past,
require
prior
48.
to winning when he won last time here, he didn't quite get it right on the Saturday night, but as the week progressed, he
38.
looked more and more likely
Jimmy
until
Maguire,
eventually getting over the line
101.
and winning a week.
Well, a couple more missed starts at double. He doesn't want that to desert him at the wrong time. But Jim McEwen needs to find a treble first, and he can't.
It's just not
57.
clicked for Jim so far.
Now we require 10.
Did have those couple of opportunities in leg one. They may turn out to be costly. Or is there another twist?
5. Jimmy require 44. 24. Neil, you require 5.
A match so far of missed opportunities for McEwen.
Is he punished?
No score. Jimmy required 20.
Well, that becomes double 5. This is tense.
10.
Well, right on the
Neil, you
money.
require 5. One. Jimmy require 10.
Wow. Huge, huge tension here.
Games on the second leg.
Jim McEwen
Jim McEwen.
levels up.
Third leg, it's Jim to throw first. Game on.
Good to see that the bulk of the audience have stayed in the venue to watch this. Often, a lot of the crowd are made up of sort of VIP guests of the players, and Duff and McEwen, their friends and family would have a bit of a distance to travel, wouldn't they?
Well, probably about 500 miles for both.
Yeah, they're just enjoying the drama of a dramatic night of darts.
120. $43.
Though it is 1-1, it's just not looked comfortable so far, Jim McEwen. It's been a long couple of weeks for him. Maybe he's
140.
mentally and physically just hit the brick wall.
Just keep his focus quite well. Both players do, to be fair.
$180.
Pressure with a capital P on the McEwen throw. Duff is going to get an opportunity to move within 1, and he will then serve
57.
to
Now
be
he
the
requires
double
61.
trouble king. 25 leaves 36, and that
Game shown
is a
the
clean
third
kill.
leg.
What a leg of darts
Neil
that is
Duff.
from Neil Duff. An 11 darter in the final.
Fourth leg, it's Neil to throw first.
11 darter
Game
is
on.
a fabulous leg at the best of times. Never mind in this format. And although his doubling earlier was questionable,
120.
he has been the king of the doubles tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's been superb. He's actually now had to throw more darts at double in this final than he's thrown in any of his other matches combined.
Yeah.
96.
But it's a strong start, 120, as he throws to be the first special week winner.
100.
He's just got the measure, hasn't he, at the moment? He is looking the most likely. Jim McEwen still
134.
100% committed, of course. Just about to say, could this be a third max? Because it was begging for one.
$59.
Well, that now offers Duff his chance.
$100.
He will return with 81 points between him and the trophy.
Oh. 180. Now we require 81.
Tenacious. Or is it too late?
The bull to win it.
37.
Well, would have almost
Jimmy
been
required
apt.
32.
The 180 could not have been better timed. Put the weight of the world
David on the
on
forward.
Neil Duff's shoulders.
Jim McEwen.
And the gritty Scotsman, Jim McEwen, produced a pearler of a visit.
Fifth
And then
final leg.
landed
it's
the
Jim
double to
throw
force a
first.
decider.
Game on.
First match of the night tonight was Jim McEwen against Neil Duff. Duff won it 3-2 in the deciding leg.
Is he going to get
40.
instant revenge?
Beautiful dart. I mean, that
80.
dart at tops was that good. There was almost an argument to stay there.
For 120.
Would have been a remarkable thing to do in the last leg of the final.
140.
But Jim McEwen's doing incredible things at the moment.
Well, he's been under it from dart 1, hasn't he?
134.
Just the wrong side.
95. $100.
Well, Neil Duff had a dart for the bull to win this game. He probably thought when he was so far ahead in that leg he'd get a better chance than that. Jim McEwen has shown all his doggedness, his resolve, his tenacity.
56.
Well, he's left 170. And that would be the ultimate way to win it.
But after the last leg of last night, I'm not sure we could take it.
140.
He's got to go.
Jimmy require 170.
Robert Thornton last evening to get through to the finals, hit treble 20, treble 20, then it bounced out of the bull. Jim McEwen's hit treble 20, but doesn't get the second.
And the irony, the ball finds the target.
Neil, you require 47.
Well, what a week. What a night. What a final. Neil Duff takes his time. And Duff delivers.
Shot and the match. And the MODUS Super Series Double Trouble Week winner, Neil Duff.
He is the first Super Series special champion. And you can see Duff is delighted. McEwen made him work. But Neil Duff is the champion. He wins Double Trouble with little trouble at all. Although he did get a little bit from Chucky in that final. A 3-2 success for Neil Duff in that final. There you see the stats, and Duff, well, his finishing before the final was remarkable. 9 out of 12 on the doubles going into it. 3 out of 15 in the end there. And that 61 checkout put him in a good spot. McEwen forced the decider with a brilliant 180. But Duff held his nerve, held firm, and got the job done. A weekly winner before, and now the first winner of Double Trouble. Well, let's hand you over to the presentation party with our MC, Owen Binks.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for this week's MODUS Super Series champion, Neil Duff.
Champion of the original Double Trouble Specials week. That Tops has won him a lot of tournaments. That Tops has won him a lot of money in his career. And a bit like Scott Taylor last week, the trophy's being left on stage. Maybe this is becoming a fad. Neil Duff, the champion then of Double Trouble. So he is the winner. He is the victor of this one then. So Neil Duff, the original champion as far as Double Trouble is concerned. He beat Jim McEwen in a last leg decider, 3-2 to lift the jackpot win the jackpot and to lift that title of Double Trouble champion. So Neil Duff is the champion. He is making the sprint up to the studio to have a chat with us. But these are the results of what we've seen so far this evening. It began with a 3-2 win for Neil Duff against Jim McEwen. It has ended with a 3-2 victory for Neil Duff against Jim McEwen, and in the middle of that, a whole host of darting drama aside. We saw early exits for Connor Scott and Conan Whitehead from proceedings, and then the semi-final as well. Duff again winning by 3-2 against Darryl Pilgrim, and then Jim McEwen getting the better of James Wilson by 3-1. And that did set up our final. Duff beating McEwen in a last leg decider by 3-2 in that one. Well, what an interesting final, and we've been watching it in the company of Mace the Ace, Chris Mason. Well, it began with a tight win for Neil Duff. It ended with a tight win for Neil Duff.
Yeah, it was almost apt, wasn't it? I mean, he was made to work in every match, excluding the one against a real out of sorts Conan Whitehead. But outside of that one, he was made to work super, super hard to eventually pick up that wonderful trophy and the title of our first Double Trouble weekly champion.
Every single time we've asked a question of Neil, he's held his nerve, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's just very calm, isn't he? You can see, you can watch him play. You can almost feel those. He's a glass half full kind of guy, and he plays that way. He doesn't get distracted. He doesn't get too emotionally involved in a match, and he almost treats winning the way he treats losing. Not that he's done too much of that tonight. Yeah, and it's a great quality to have. You look at the vast majority of great sportsmen. It's how they deal with drama and how they cope with things not necessarily going right, but things going wrong.
Well, the champ has joined us. Neil, many congratulations.
Cheers.
Well done.
Cheers.
This is becoming a very familiar habit, and one I'm sure you're enjoying a heck of a lot right now.
Who would have knew? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I mean? I must have been just blown off the cobwebs. I just felt like a completely different beast altogether. I enjoyed it. I actually went up there playing. I was enjoying the game. So.
You looked incredibly focused. You seem to have sometimes when you feel like you've got the measure of the board, you've got the weight of the board, and you just looked just.
I think it's the strangest thing. You kind of, yourself as a dart player, you can start thinking about other things, and you lose that focus. Where it was steely determination, I think it was more than anything else tonight, and I knew I had the bite down, and they were going to be tough games, and yeah, got there.
What flicked between Thursday and Friday for you?
Wednesday.
The want. Mm-hmm. I think when I seen the stats, because I did have the highest check-in rate, also the lowest. I had the highest check-out rate and also the lowest. And you see the stats that were popped tonight. They didn't make good reading, and that's where then I start to, right, you need to sort this out.
And going into the final tonight, your finishing stats were 75%, 9 from 12. Absolutely remarkable numbers, and that was key to victory, because apart from an out of sorts Conan Whitehead, the rest of the matches you were made to work hard, and you had to hit those clutch finishes.
I sorted that average out there, and that second leg there, didn't it? Yeah, but I felt like I was getting away every time, and just felt really comfortable, and yeah, I kind of feel for Darryl. Had he doesn't miss double 16, and he can't even hit the triple 10. I went, but that's over. And then when he missed the two of them, at the big 94, the best 94 I've ever took out.
Your clutch finishing under pressure tonight in 2 games was immaculate.
Yeah,
That's what you have to do against a squad of guys like that there.
that 94. I mean, I was in comments with saying, does he go for the ball, or you basically just said, no, I'm committed. I fancy it in treble 18 and getting to the top.
I actually walked up to the board and I went, if I hit a single 18 and going double 18, double top. And after the first dart, I changed my mind. I went for the treble 20. And look, enough it worked out for me. But yeah, it takes you hold the nerve to hit that double 8. I mean, I could have been 2 inches away from it, but you just kind of. And I think maybe a couple of times, even in the final there, where I probably should have took a step back and had to go at the double 2. Oh, I wasn't close. I wasn't.
But then you recovered from that in the last leg when you went up for that top. So lift the top, you took that step back, and then lo and behold, you hit it.
Yeah, that's what I should have been doing. On the legs that I've lost tonight, I should have been doing that. But I kind of felt like there was a lot of Chucky fans in the crowd. I didn't think I was really feeling the love, which is not normally I can win a crowd over pretty well. But yeah, so just had to make sure the single 7. I've seen so many guys this week who have missed big numbers. Colin Osborne's done it so many times. Yeah, so get the big number out of the road and then just super focus and get it in. And I was never as glad to see it going in. How much in your career do you owe that double top now? But I put the work in double top. As it was said, I worked on it yesterday. My practice routine is 201 double in, double out. So I'm also lethal on double 17 as well. Actually, I had 3 in the Lakeside final. So the 3 double 17s. Yeah, but I practice on it. And it wasn't there, but it's the start of the week. But it done me a lot of favours tonight. And you're a man of firsts, aren't you? The first player to win a WDF World Championship, the first to win a double start tournament here. You like having that first name on the trophy, don't you? Yeah. Just as long as it's not my last. But it's been a really enjoyable week. It's having that. It's not something that on ADC or WDF. It's not something that we come across too often. I try to incorporate it at home. Yeah, you have to let me know when the next one is, so I can get a few competitions and then my home place first. Has that been something that players have actually been talking about over the course of the week? Is they now actually watching this week, appetite for players, to play something like this if, say, a double start competition came again? The thing is, I kind of found that I get round the same numbers for competitions that I run, but when it comes to double in, double out, the numbers are always well down. It's not for everyone. I think it makes good viewing. I lay in the apartment last night and watched a bit of last night's, and it makes good TV. It's entertaining. I've had a couple of guys have messaged me and says they're kind of bored watching the PDC and how things turn out, and the seniors and the MODUS. It's a good watch because it's interesting. You don't always know who's going to win it. I was 7-1, 4th favourite something tonight to win this year. So yeah, I'm over the moon. And he's becoming now, mate, isn't he? From a player who's won a few titles to one of our great champions here. That's the 3rd title for him, 2 in succession.
Yeah, and of course you missed out on Champions Week, of course, because of seniors, and who knows what he could have done there. But I'm sure it won't be too long before you're back to play another week to get another crack at Champions Week.
Fancy the hat trick next time you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. Though I was speaking to Darrell Pilgrim afterwards, and I want to play you single and double. I want to game us straight in. So yeah, he's got to be in his bonnet, but he's off the bigger things and all now. So just wish them all the best. And I couldn't really have asked for a better group this week. They've all been, most of them's all been really good. So yeah, there was no complaint about me playing first and last tonight. No.
And winning the pair white. Neil, many congratulations, mate. Just finally, some observations from yourself about the week as a whole, because it has been a fantastic revelation, this.
Yeah, I think it's the way the players have just enjoyed it. For them who are constantly playing all the time, it must be just a refreshing change and a new challenge, and just an opportunity for some of the players to try something new. And it's certainly been great for us to broadcast it and certainly to commentate on it.
Well, it's been great fun having your company as ever. We'll see you again soon. We'll see you again soon, Neil. And you've got that trophy potentially to lift for a third time. So many congratulations on tonight. Well, what a week it has been here at Double Trouble. It was a first of its kind, and it's most certainly been a success. Nobody's been brushed. But as far as the competition is concerned, Neil Duff has mopped up. He's the champion here at Double Trouble. We'll see you on Monday for Series 7. Bye from us.